Chapter 2026. I have learned my lesson. Yang Ming pondered for a moment and solemnly clasped his fist to express his gratitude. Regardless of whether what Old Man Mo said was true or false, his advice was correct. Sometimes, one shouldn't try to force things to change. There will always be a way when the time comes. Some things may seem hopeless, but in fact, there will always be a solution. Since that's the case, our fate has come to an end. This old man will leave now. Old Man Mo smiled slightly and prepared to get out of the car and leave. Old Man Mo, will we meet again? Yang Ming's love for talent was aroused. Old Man Mo's plan was flawless. If he could live on Island X, he would be a great help to him. The matter of karma, if it goes according to this old man's plan, then we will naturally meet again. Moreover, this old man will stay by your side. Brother son, you will naturally meet again. Old Man Mo seemed to know what Yang Ming was thinking and said lightly. Yang Ming was suddenly shocked. Indeed, he wanted to keep Old Man Mo not only because of his talent, but also because he wanted to use Old Man Mo to find Old Man's son who gave him the glasses. However, Yang Ming didn't say these words, but Old Man Mo guessed it. This was enough to show that Old Man Mo wasn't ordinary. I will work hard. Yang Ming nodded and said solemnly. All of this was based on Yang Ming's safe return. If he returned safely, then everything would be easy to talk about. Protect Lu Yezi well. Don't let me down. Old Man Mo's figure swayed slightly. He got out of the car and disappeared. His speed was so fast that it made Yang Ming speechless. This Old Man Mo. Is he some kind of expert? Yang Ming rubbed his eyes. What is pretentious? This person is more pretentious than me. He is obviously a peerless expert, but he was bullied by a group of hooligans. If Yang Ming knew that he had such skills, would he still need to make a move? He was like that, Fong Tian was like that, and it was probably the same when he first met Old Man's son who gave him the glasses. Yang Ming couldn't help but sigh. He always pretended to be pretentious in a low-key way, but he didn't expect to meet a few old men who were more pretentious than him. However, Old Man Mo's last sentence made Yang Ming somewhat puzzled. Protect Lu Yezi. Is this Old Man Mo related to Lu Yezi? It doesn't seem like that. If they knew each other, Lu Yezi wouldn't have introduced Old Man Mo like this before. At least in Lu Yezi's tone, Old Man Mo was a stranger, not an acquaintance. It's really strange. This Old Man Mo probably had some secrets that even Lu Yezi didn't know about. Otherwise, why would Old Man Mo tell me to take care of Lu Yezi in private and not in front of Lu Yezi? But no matter what, Yang Ming didn't know the reason now. He could only wait until he returned safely from Yunnan. When he met Old Man Mo again, he could ask the truth of the matter. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but sigh. Old Man Mo's speed is faster than me. How did he train to have such good skills? Is he still human? If Old Man Mo heard Yang Ming's thoughts, he would probably laugh and scold. You have glasses, but I have aircraft. You can have high tech, but I can't have high tech too. Yang Ming got out of the car, but Lu Yezi was a little surprised and hurriedly said to Yang Ming, Boss, what suddenly flew out of the car just now? And then it was gone in the blink of an eye. You scared me to death. It's Old Man Mo. He is a master. Yang Ming said with a wry smile. He couldn't hide this kind of thing even if he wanted to. Old Man Mo couldn't disappear into thin air. If Lu Yezi asked why Old Man Mo wasn't in the car, Yang Ming would have to explain, so he might as well just say it. Moreover, it was Old Man Mo who wanted to hide it from Lu Yezi. It was good enough that Yang Ming helped him take care of Lu Yezi. Help him hide it. Dream on. It's him. Lu Yezi's eyes widened. It can't be. What kind of speed is this? So fast. It's really him. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Such a talent should be introduced to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. We can't let such a talent be wasted. Lu Yezi said with some envy. Let's go. He's gone. He won't come back. Yang Ming waved his hand and smiled. He waited here just to say a few words to me. After he finished speaking, he will naturally leave. Aren't you clear about this? I really didn't expect that old man Mo was actually waiting for you here, bro. Lu Yezi said with some emotion. Lu Yezi, did you know old man Mo before? Yang Ming suddenly asked. Old man Mo? Know him. I don't know him. What's wrong? Yang Ming's question made Lu Yezi somewhat inexplicable. Nothing. Yang Ming smiled. Let's go. Let's go to the night market. Xia Shui couldn't wait. Previously, when Big Tooth and others were taken away by the police, it didn't cause any waves. Most of the merchants just clapped their hands and continued to do business. They didn't dare to comment on this matter. After all, Big Tooth's father was the manager of the market. Although Big Tooth was arrested, who knew if the manager could be replaced? Don't let others take the opportunity to find trouble. Huang Lele and Xia Shui were in front, and Yang Ming and Lu Yezi were walking behind. The relationship between Huang Lele and Xia Shui was much better. Perhaps because both of them were girls, it was meaningless to go shopping alone. At this time, they could give each other advice. Besides, there was no conflict of interest between the two of them. Yang Ming was about to leave, and there was not much time left for him to be with Huang Lele. It could be said that it was Xia Shui and Yang Ming's time to be together in the future. However, although Yang Ming was walking behind the two of them, he didn't relax his vigilance. After all, the previous phone call reminded Yang Ming that someone was targeting Huang Lele, and the scene before the airport also proved that what that person said was true. That person should be an insider. As for why he told Yang Ming didn't know, but one thing was certain. That person didn't want anything to happen to Huang Lele. But how could Yang Ming want anything to happen to Huang Lele? So at this time, Yang Ming was full of vigilance. He believed that if the other sniper really intended to assassinate Huang Lele, then they would definitely find this place. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau's base here might be a secret to others. They might not find this place in a short time. Chapter 2027. But for the behind-the-scenes person who wanted to deal with Huang Lele, this place was not a secret. Because the Nail brother Wang was a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he naturally knew about this base. He also knew that Yang Ming would be brought to this base. What brother Wang knew was equivalent to the behind-the-scenes person knowing. So, if they wanted to assassinate Huang Lele, they would wait near the base. This night market might also become the place where they assassinated Huang Lele. However, what made Yang Ming feel slightly relieved was that this night market was located in an open-air and empty area. There were no residential areas nearby, nor high-rise buildings. It was completely an open space. In other words, the sniper could not hide on a high building because there was no such foothold here. If they wanted to assassinate Huang Lele, they must mix into the market and pretend to be a tourist to assassinate Huang Lele. In that case, the sniper rifle was useless. People came and went in the night market. It was impossible for the sniper rifle to aim at Huang Lele from a distance. Not only would they not be able to hit Huang Lele, but they would also hit the innocent tourists. Of course, for these people, there was no psychological burden to injure the tourists. If they were injured, they would be injured. But if they missed, it would inevitably cause chaos. It would be difficult for them to make a move again. Therefore, the only way was to ambush at close range. In this way, the assassin must pretend to be a pedestrian, mix to Huang Leilei's side, and then wait for the opportunity to make a move. As for Yang Ming, he had been paying attention to the wanderers around Huang Leilei. He was paying attention to whether there were any inappropriate people who had just joined. Bro, what are you doing? Lu Yezi also saw that Yang Ming was not right. Someone wants to assassinate Leilei. I have to be 120% alert. I can't let go of any clues. Yang Ming said with a bitter smile. Oh. Sister-in-law Leilei is in danger. Lu Yezi was slightly stunned. Bro, leave this to me. Sister-in-law is in danger. I will inform you immediately. Oh. Yang Ming was slightly stunned after listening to Lu Yezi's words. He looked at Lu Yezi strangely. Isn't Lu Yezi's words too confident? What kind of assurance did he have that made him so confident? However, even if Lu Yezi said so, Yang Ming still did not relax his vigilance. It was better to rely on oneself than on others. Yang Ming also believed that Lu Yezi would not deceive him, but this kind of thing was related to Huang Leilei's safety after all. There was nothing wrong with being careful. For these little things sold in the night market, Yang Ming naturally had no interest. However, Xia Shui and Huang Leilei were different. The two of them were like Granny Lu entering the Grand View Garden. Everything they saw was new and they were curious. If he didn't ask and stop to touch it, it would seem that he would be letting down this trip. Yang Ming could understand Huang Leilei's behavior, but Xia Shui was about to leave for Yunnan. Could it be that she still had to pack up these little toys that she bought? Of course, Yang Ming also knew that it was impossible, but since it was impossible, why would Xia Shui buy it? Could it be that she wanted to leave it at home? However, that was Xia Shui's behavior. Yang Ming could not interfere. If she wanted to buy it, then let her buy it. This was the last time to relax before the mission. It was good to relax. She could relax so that she could better devote herself to the battle in the future. Bro, there is danger. Lu Yezi's face suddenly tightened. He covered his chest with his right hand and said to Yang Ming with a frown. Oh. Yang Ming's mood also subconsciously tightened. There was nothing strange around Huang Leilei, right? At this moment, Huang Leilei was stopping in front of a pottery stall. She and Xia Shui were curiously looking at the pottery handicrafts on the stall. There was no suspicious person around Huang Leilei. On the pottery stall, apart from the stall owner, there were only Huang Leilei and Xia Shui. Why did Lu Yezi suddenly say that there was danger? This made Yang Ming very puzzled. But with Yang Ming's understanding of Lu Yezi, he also knew that Lu Yezi was not a person who spoke without thinking. He must have his reasons for saying so. Thinking of this, Yang Ming was more vigilant. Yang Ming's gaze first swept to the owner of the pottery stall. This stall owner was a middle-aged woman in her 40s. In theory, there should be no problem because the people who set up the stall here should be familiar people in the market. It was impossible for unfamiliar people to set up a stall here. It was the first time they came here, so they could not occupy such a front stall. Moreover, from the way the middle-aged woman and the sock seller were talking, it could be seen that the two of them knew each other. Unless there was something wrong with both of them, it could prove that there was nothing wrong with the owner of the clay stall. Since she had no problem, then the person with the problem was. Suddenly, Yang Ming's gaze focused. A thin middle-aged man in a trench coat was walking quickly toward Huang Leilei. This person seemed very ordinary, and there was nothing suspicious, but Yang Ming felt that this person was very suspicious. First, it was spring now. Although the weather was not so hot, it was not so cold. In this season, it was normal to wear a trench coat over unlined clothes, but it was a bit abnormal to wear it in this night market. There were many people in this night market, and the snacks were everywhere. Many stalls were steaming hot. If it was a person who often visited the night market, no one would wear so much. In the night market, it would be very hot. Second, this person's pace was very fast. If he came to visit the night market, how could he walk so fast? What could he see if he walked so fast? Just these 2 points were enough to prove that this person was a suspicious person. Of course, this person might not come to the night market often, or it was possible that he came to the night market to find someone. He walked so fast, but these were not important. Yang Ming was just suspicious, and that was enough. Since he was already suspicious, Yang Ming naturally could not stand by and watch. Instead, he walked quickly and took a few steps behind the man in the trench coat. Yang Ming directly reached out and patted the shoulder of the man in the trench coat. "I say, buddy," the body of the man in the trench coat tightened, but he subconsciously wanted to escape. Seeing that this person wanted to escape, Yang Ming's expression suddenly tightened. Yang Ming's pat was just a test. If this person had no problem, then the reaction at this moment would definitely be to turn around in doubt. Naturally, it was impossible for him to escape. Generally, when a normal person was walking on the road and was patted from behind, the first thought would be to turn around and see who patted him, right? What's the matter? If there was no guilt in his heart, who would want to escape? Chapter 2028. So, Yang Ming immediately felt that there was something wrong with this person. Yang Ming naturally wouldn't let him run away. Yang Ming subconsciously raised his hand and grabbed the back of this person's neck. "Don't run. If you run one more step, I'll crush your bones," Yang Ming said lightly. The windbreaker-wearing man's body suddenly tightened. His neck was being pinched, so he naturally stopped his footsteps. Sweat also seeped out from his forehead. As an assassin, he wasn't very smart. He was just a sniper. He was good at using his gun to kill people in the dark. This kind of close-range killing wasn't his strength. Of course, it wasn't his strength, but it didn't mean that he didn't know how to do it. At least in the country, he was also a top assassin. There was no doubt about this. However, his psychological quality when facing the enemy was relatively weak. Previously, he was in the dark. Occasionally, he would be in the light, so he wouldn't encounter such an obstacle like Yang Ming. But today, when he was suddenly patted from behind, the windbreaker-wearing man's first thought was that his whereabouts were discovered, so he subconsciously wanted to run away. But after he made the action of running away, he regretted it. If the person was really coming for him, then it was useless for him to run away. Since he could see through his flaw, then he definitely wasn't a mediocre person. He shouldn't be able to run away. This was a stupid choice. However, if the person wasn't coming for him, but just mistook him for someone else, then there was no need to run at all. Therefore, it was better to pretend that nothing had happened and turn around to ask the person why he was patted on the head. "You. What are you doing? Why did you crush my bones?" The windbreaker-wearing man carefully and innocently regained his consciousness. He looked at Yang Ming and asked weakly. "You don't know what I'm going to do?" Yang Ming asked faintly, "But why are you running?" I. You patted me just now. I thought I met a thief, so I naturally wanted to leave quickly," the windbreaker-wearing man said carefully. "Thief?" Yang Ming smiled faintly. "That's great. Then I'll be a thief for once." As Yang Ming spoke, he used his other hand to search the trench coat man's body. The windbreaker-wearing man's expression immediately changed. He wanted to refuse and resist, but Yang Ming's hand on his neck never loosened, so he didn't dare to act rashly. Who was Yang Ming? He was the king of assassins, so how could he give him any chance? At every moment, Yang Ming had the initiative and the upper hand. He would not give the man in the windbreaker the slightest chance to turn the tables. What is this? Yang Ming took out a pistol and a dagger and shook them in front of the man in the windbreaker. Are you afraid that someone will steal your dagger or your gun? I'm a police officer. The man had an idea and said. Lu Yezi, get someone to take this guy back to the station. Didn't he say that he was a police officer? Let's investigate and see if it's true or not. Yang Ming said lightly. When the man heard Yang Ming's words, he knew that it wasn't good. He didn't know the identity of Yang Ming. He was just a little assassin with the lowest status who developed with the help of Alice's power. He didn't even know that his behind-the-scenes boss was Alice. Alice's order was passed down through the layers before it was finally implemented on the man in the windbreaker. Obviously, Alice sent such a small character to carry out this mission. Perhaps it was because she didn't think highly of this mission. Previously, she had already lost a very important person, Brother Wang of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. This nail could be said to be one of the most important nails, but now, he was useless. Therefore, Alice didn't want to lose any more good people. She only sent such a weak person to make up the numbers because of her brother's request. Of course, with this person's skill, even without Lu Yezi's warning, Yang Ming could easily find him and capture him. Just based on his previous 2 doubts, it was enough for Yang Ming to suspect. The man in the windbreaker thought that after he said that he was a police officer, he could intimidate Yang Ming. As long as he was distracted for a moment, he could wait for an opportunity to escape. However, Yang Ming was not distracted, but he wanted to take him back to the station. Could it be that Yang Ming is a police officer? Yang Ming didn't even ask who sent this man because Yang Ming also knew that it was useless for him to ask. It was meaningless because this person wouldn't know these things. With this person's skill, he was too weak. At first glance, he was a peripheral character. Soon, the people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau came. This time, it was Little Zhang. After Yang Ming handed the windbreaker man to Little Zhang, he didn't explain much. He just said that this person intended to hurt Huang Lele. The pistol and dagger also confirmed his identity as an assassin. Little Zhang came with the police. Previously, the people around saw that Yang Ming caught a person and found a pistol and dagger on him. They were a little shocked. They didn't know who Yang Ming and the windbreaker man were, so they didn't dare to say anything. Only some enthusiastic people secretly dialed the police. Coincidentally, when Little Zhang arrived, the police arrived as well. Little Zhang saved some trouble and directly brought the windbreaker man into the police car. This time, the people around also understood that Yang Ming probably belonged to the police. He caught a suspect with a gun here. Of course, as the instigator of this matter, Yang Ming had secretly left with Lu Yezi, Huang Lele, and Xia Shui. It was already 6:00. It was almost time for the dinner party. Huang Lele and Xia Shui were almost done shopping. Moreover, there was the windbreaker man. Huang Lele naturally didn't have the mood to continue shopping. Everyone walked in the direction of the car together. Lu Yezi, how can you feel the danger in advance? When you gave me the warning before, this windbreaker man didn't seem to have appeared yet, right? Yang Ming lowered his voice and looked at Lu Yezi. This was also something that Yang Ming had been puzzled about. I didn't find anything wrong before, so how did Lu Yezi find out? When he gave the warning, this windbreaker man was probably still 100 meters away, right? At that distance, no one could be sure what this windbreaker man was doing, but Lu Yezi just told Yang Ming that it was dangerous. Moreover, this windbreaker man walked forward from behind the two of them. Lu Yezi didn't seem to have turned around before. How did he know without turning around? Does he have eyes on the back of his head? Or does he also have a special ability like me? Ugh. Boss, since you are my boss and the captain of this operation, then I won't hide it from you. In fact, this is related to a godly artifact on me. This artifact can predict bad luck. There are many people now. When there is no one around, I will tell you in detail. Lu Yezi hesitated and said. Chapter 2029. Since they were about to go to Yunnan together to carry out a difficult mission, then they were brothers in the trench. Lu Yezi must tell Yang Ming what abilities Lu Yezi had in advance. In this way, Yang Ming would be clear about the strengths of each teammate in the team. He could also reasonably formulate a battle plan to lay the foundation for everyone's sincere cooperation in the future. If he still hid it at this time, not only would it not be beneficial, but it might also ruin the plan because of his own private stash. Lu Yezi was very clear about this, so he still said such a huge secret. And Yang Ming was someone he respected and admired, so he didn't hide anything from him. Oh. Godly artifact. Yang Ming couldn't help but be stunned. He glanced at Lu Yezi with some suspicion. I have a magical pair of glasses. Could it be that Lu Yezi also has something good on him? And, when we get back to the car, I will tell you in detail, boss. Lu Yezi said, now there are too many idlers in this market. Although they may not know what I am talking about even if I say it, it is better to be careful about this kind of thing. You are right. There is nothing wrong with being careful. Yang Ming nodded and did not ask more. Now, because of the previous assassination, Huang Lele and Xia Shui did not have the intention to go shopping. The four people quickly left the market and returned to the car. It was almost time for Yang Ming to treat others to dinner, so Yang Ming quickly returned to the car. The person just now was an assassin. He actually wanted to kill Lele. Xia Shui was a little surprised. She still had lingering fear when she thought about it. If Yang Ming hadn't discovered it in advance, then Huang Lele would be either dead or injured. Yes, but it shouldn't be Huang Lele's enemy. I guess it should be directed at me. Yang Ming hesitated and said. Directed at you? Xia Shui was slightly stunned. Yes, the airport was the first time, and the night market here was the second time. Although these people are targeting Huang Lele on the surface, I feel that their purpose is to attack me. Yang Ming nodded and said. Oh. Attack you? Xia Shui and Lu Yezi looked at Yang Ming at the same time with a strange expression. That's right. Yang Ming said, I have been thinking about this issue since the beginning. Lele doesn't have any enemies. Even if there is absolutely no possibility of using the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to kill her. With her identity and background, it is not enough to reach such a height. And, you are right. Xia Shui nodded and said. But why did this person want to attack you? To disturb if you are not by their side, isn't it easier to do it? Xia Shui was engaged in criminal investigation. She immediately considered the key point of the problem. Normally, this is the case, but there is an accident. Yang Ming said, first of all, Songjiang City is currently my territory. It can be said to be a monolithic block. The police have Uncle Chen, the underworld has Bao Sanli and Ho Jinhan, and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau has Fatty's people. If they want to attack my people in Songjiang City, it is undoubtedly more difficult. Xia Shui nodded. Yang Ming was right. Songjiang City had been armed to the teeth. When the opponent made a move, I am afraid it would be difficult to succeed. Secondly, now that I have cut off the contact with Songjiang City, that is to say, I may not be able to receive the situation in Songjiang City. As a result, as long as the opponent is not stupid, they will not choose to attack Songjung City. So, they will attack Lele. Yang Ming said, I believe that as long as we embark on the journey, Lele's danger will be automatically removed. I didn't expect that your analysis is so comprehensive. Xia Shui couldn't help but admire, so, it seems that our opponent is afraid. This is a good thing. It will increase our confidence before we set off. That's not necessarily the case. As far as I know, Elder Yu is not a person who is afraid of trouble. He is very arrogant, and this person has the capital to be arrogant. He is indeed powerful. The evil technique that he practices is really powerful. Yang Ming said, the reason why he did this is probably very simple. That is, he is currently being dragged down by some things, or he has reached a bottleneck in his cultivation. He is in the midst of a breakthrough and doesn't want to be disturbed. We are not going at the right time, so he wants to stop or delay our actions. Then, after we go, can we take him down in one fell swoop? Xia Shui asked with some excitement. Can you find him? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Moreover, even if we find him, we may not be his opponent. It is true that he doesn't want to be disturbed when he is cultivating, but even if the cultivation fails, we may not be his opponent. So this Elder Yu is so powerful. Xia Shui smiled awkwardly. Yes, his disciple is so powerful. This person is definitely not ordinary. Forget it. Forget it, let's not think too much about it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's not talk about this. I think Feng Tianlong and Xiao Susu are ready. Let's contact them now. Yang Ming waved his hand and stopped the topic. That's right. As long as we set off and leave Yanjing, Lele will be safe. Xia Shui knew how to draw inferences and immediately saw the root of the matter. Since the person targeted is you, if you leave, there is no point in assassinating Huang Lele. It will be a waste of manpower and money. That's right. So, during this time, Lele will be by my side. Let her live in the base. That way, she will be safe. Yang Ming nodded and said. Then, he looked at Lu Yezi and said, you call Feng Tianlong and ask where they are. Yes, boss. Lu Yezi nodded and immediately dialed Feng Tianlong's internal phone number. Soon, Feng Tianlong answered the phone. This was the professional quality that an agent should have. When the phone rang, he would answer it immediately. This kind of person would find it difficult to miss their own phone call like ordinary people. This was because they were sensitive to the ringtone that they set. They could hear it immediately after the phone rang. Chapter 2030. Hello, Yezi, this is Long Feng. Feng Tianlong picked up the phone and said quickly. Tianlong, where are you? Boss is going to treat us to a meal. Lu Yezi said with a smile, we are not on a mission now. You don't have to be so careful. Susu and I are at XX Commercial Building. You also know that Susu probably won't have a chance to come back after leaving this time, so I'm accompanying her to walk around. Feng Tianlong lowered his voice and said with some helplessness and sadness in his tone. Then why don't I tell boss that we won't eat today? You guys can spend some quality time together. Lu Yezi pondered and asked. That's not necessary. Business is more important. The most important thing now is our mission. In order to complete the mission better, we must cultivate a good team spirit. We just met the captain, so it's more important to have a meal together and get familiar with each other. Feng Tianlong immediately declined Lu Yezi's kindness. In his opinion, work was more important. Well, you choose a place nearby. Boss and I will go there immediately. Lu Yezi didn't insist. After all, what Feng Tianlong said made sense. Let's go to Wangji Barbecue Bar. It's self-service. There are private rooms and it's convenient to talk. How about it? Feng Tianlong didn't propose a high-end restaurant. He wasn't a luxurious person. Besides, it was the first time he met the captain. He also knew that the captain was paying for the meal out of his own pocket. This money couldn't be reimbursed, so he didn't add any burden to Yang Ming. Okay, let's go there now. Lu Yezi didn't care about what to eat. He just wanted a few people to gather. After hanging up the phone, Lu Yezi drove Yang Ming, Xia Shui, and Huang Lele to the address of Wangji Barbecue Bar. At the same time, Alice received the news that the mission had failed and the assassin had been caught. However, Alice's expression didn't change. This result had long been within her expectations. She didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. The person she found was the worst assassin. It was just to deal with Falcon. Although Falcon was Alice's brother, Alice didn't want to kill Yang Ming deep in her heart. As for why, Alice didn't know. She picked up the phone and dialed Falcon's number. Brother, I'm Xiao Ai. After the call was connected, Alice said straightforwardly, the operation failed. The killer was caught by Yang Ming and handed over to the police. Failed again. Falcon sighed after hearing Alice's words. Xiao Ai, you didn't try your best, right? Try my best. You also know that Yang Ming is an assassin, and a very powerful one at that. In front of him, it is extremely difficult to assassinate. Even the nail of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was useless, so what was the use of a killer? Huang Lele is inseparable from him. It is estimated that before Yang Ming leaves, he will not be separated from her. At present, it seems that I have no chance to make a move, and I don't want to lose any more people. Alice said. But Xiao Ai, you also know the seriousness of the matter. If we can't affect Yang Ming this time and let Yang Ming smoothly go to Yunnan Miaojiang to perform the mission, then Elder Yu will be in trouble. Elder Yu is now in the critical stage of leveling up and breaking through. He is about to master the divine art. At this time, he can't be disturbed. Falcon said, as long as we delay Yang Ming and wait for Elder Yu to master the divine art, it will be easy to get rid of Yang Ming. Brother, why do you have to get rid of Yang Ming? Alice asked, do you know that dealing with Yang Ming consumes a lot of our strength? Our biggest enemy now is not Yang Ming, but Central. Xiao Ai, what are you talking about? You can't simply say this. Falcon was shocked after listening to Alice's words. He quickly lowered his voice and said, before we have absolute strength, don't mention this in the future. It will get us into trouble. But, brother, how much strength did we lose to deal with Yang Ming? If we keep this strength and use it as a bargaining chip to deal with Central, isn't it better? Alice asked. Xiao Ai, you are too naive. The bargaining chips in our hands are nothing in Central's eyes. Falcon smiled bitterly and said, Central's power is not something we can imagine. Do you know what Dr. Benjamin is studying? He is studying the Iron Men. That is, people whose bodies are made of steel. This kind of person has infinite strength and is invulnerable. Our strength is nothing in front of them. Their individual strength is obviously stronger than ours. Moreover, it is said that Dr. Benjamin is still cultivating biochemical monsters. We are really too insignificant. If it wasn't for Yang Ming's interference, my strength would be far stronger than it is now. Yang Ming ruined my good deeds. How can I let him stay? But, brother, have you ever thought about using Yang Ming's power to get us out of Central? Instead of going against Yang Ming, why don't we rope him in and let him be our helper? In this way, won't our strength be stronger? Alice asked. Cooperate with him. Can his strength compete with Central? Can he go against those Iron Men? When Falcon said this, he suddenly paused and said, "That's not right. Xiao Ai, is there a reason why you are speaking up for Yang Ming? Tell me the truth. What is going on between you and Yang Ming? What else can there be between me and him? We are just acquaintances, friends on the surface. What else can there be?" Alice shook her head and denied it. "Brother, don't keep making wild guesses. I'm saying this sincerely for you and for our future. We can't stay in Central forever, right? We can't work for Central forever, right? If we don't have any freedom, what is the meaning of life? It can be said that Central controls our life and death at all times. We don't have any freedom. This is not the life we want at all. It's too late, but it's too late. Yang Ming is leaving. It's useless to say this. Anyway, the interception failed. Let Yang Ming go. Everything depends on Elder Yu." Falcon sighed. "Let me think about Central again. My head is in a mess because of what you said. I know what you said, and it is what I have been doing all these years. I don't want to be controlled by Central. I want to fight against Central, but my strength is not enough. Everything is just empty words." "Okay, brother, then I won't disturb you. Think about it yourself. Anyway, what I mean now is that I don't agree with going against Yang Ming. I suggest that we preserve our strength," Alice said. Chapter 2031. After hanging up the phone call with Alice, the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, couldn't help but fall into deep thought. All along, he had regarded Yang Ming as his greatest enemy and stumbling block. He hated Yang Ming to the core, but after listening to his sister Alice's words, Falcon's heart was shaken for the first time. He didn't know if he was right or wrong, but there was one point. His purpose of doing all this was to get rid of Central's control. His crazy revenge on Yang Ming was only because Yang Ming had obstructed his plan to get away from Central. But now that he had calmed down and carefully thought about what Alice said, it was not unreasonable. If he cooperated with Yang Ming and fought against Central together, it might not be a bad idea. Phew. Falcon let out a long breath. The more he wanted to calm down, the more chaotic his mind was. He felt that his thoughts were not smooth, and he couldn't calm down to think about the future. Forget it. In any case, Yang Ming going to Miaojiang to fight to the death with Elder Yu is a foregone conclusion. This can't be changed no matter what. If Yang Ming really killed Elder Yu and returned safely, then it was not impossible to cooperate with him, or even rely on him. As long as he had the strength. As long as he dealt with Elder Yu, then Falcon believed that he had the strength to fight against Central. Of course, if Yang Ming couldn't return safely from Yunnan Miaojiang, then there was no point in thinking about these things about the future now. It was just worrying about nothing. Everything depends on you, Yang Ming. As an opponent, you made me suffer setbacks time and time again. I hope you can also make Elder Yu suffer setbacks. As long as you return safely, then I will reconsider our relationship. Falcon seemed to have made up his mind and said solemnly. After that, Falcon picked up the phone and dialed a number. Hello. After a while, Elder Yu's gloomy voice came from the phone. Falcon. How is it? Are you going to tell me a piece of good news? You have delayed Yang Ming. Sorry, so far, Yang Ming's journey has been very smooth, Falcon said faintly. What? Didn't you promise me that you would hold him back at all costs? Why is it so smooth? Elder Yu's voice sounded extremely angry. It could be imagined that delaying Yang Ming's journey should be a very important thing for him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have shouted himself hoarse. It's not wrong to promise you, but Yang Ming isn't an ordinary person. You know very well that I've already lost 2 of my best men because of this. One of them was a spy we planted in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and both of them were removed by Yang Ming. We've done our best, and we've suffered heavy losses. Falcon said truthfully. So, we've decided to give up. No. My gene Gangu is about to be refined, and it will be cultivated soon. Moreover, the evil technique I cultivate is also at a critical moment. I don't have the mind to deal with Yang Ming and the others. If you let them come over now, what if they ruin my good deed? Elder Yu roared. It could be seen that he was very angry. Elder Yu, are you mistaken? I'm not your subordinate, I'm from Central. We're just in a cooperative relationship, and you have no right to order me around. Falcon sneered. You're still a little bit lacking to show off in front of me. Don't make your identity unclear. Humph. Elder Yu snorted unhappily. Last time, our cooperation failed because of me. This time, it's because of you, so we're even. We don't owe each other anything. Whatever you say. I've done my best. It's not that I didn't work hard, but Yang Ming isn't an ordinary person, said Falcon. I'll think of another way. Elder Yu hung up the phone unhappily. Falcon shook his head and didn't take Elder Yu's attitude seriously. Elder Yu was indeed very powerful. This was undeniable, but in front of Central, he didn't dare to be rash, so Falcon didn't care about this. Standing up, Falcon left his room. Huang Yukai, who was in another room, heard the sound of Falcon's door opening. He also left the room in a wheelchair and nodded to Falcon. Boss, how is it? What's the news? It failed. There's news from Xiao AI's side. The assassin was also caught by Yang Ming. Falcon shook his head and said, Yang Ming is really cunning. The assassin is useless in front of him. He can't do anything at all. AI, it seems that letting Huang Lele get injured to delay Yang Ming's time won't work. Huang Yukai said, we lost 2 people at once. Let's change the plan. There's no need to change it. I'm going to give up on this matter. Falcon waved his hand and said, the plan is stopped. I don't plan to deal with Yang Ming. Stopped. Huang Yukai was slightly stunned. What do you mean? We're not taking any more measures. All the plans have been stopped. Yes, I have already spoken to Elder Yu and told him my intentions. Before Yang Ming leaves, I won't take any more measures. The loss this time is big enough. I can't afford to lose too much, said Falcon. So that's how it is. I understand. Falcon's mood was surprisingly stable this time. In the past, he wanted to kill Yang Ming to avenge Wang Jitao, but now it was a little different. It was as if he was relieved in his heart. The expression on his face was a little strange. However, Falcon's mind was not on this now. His mind was still thinking about what his sister, Alice, had said, so he did not notice Huang Yotsai's expression. In the car, Yang Ming and Lu Yezi were chatting. Tell me about your artifact. Yang Ming glanced at Lu Yezi and asked. At present, the people in the car were reliable people. Except for Yang Ming's woman, it was his teammate, Xia Shui. Lu Yezi had no need to hide it from them. Xia Shui was a teammate on this mission to Yunnan, so Lu Yezi's special ability was also to be told to Xia Shui. As members of the same death squad, they could not hide secrets from each other. Otherwise, when they encountered danger, everyone's judgment would be different. The judgment of the person with the special ability could be the main one. Lu Yezi obviously had this ability to predict good and bad luck. In this way, when the team encountered danger, they could rely on Lu Yezi to warn them. Therefore, in order for everyone to listen to Lu Yezi unconditionally, they must first explain to everyone what ability he had and what kind of ability it was. Let's talk about it later when we go to the restaurant. Feng Tianlong and Xiao Susu are also there. When the time comes, we can also tell them. We don't have to waste our energy twice. Lu Yezi hesitated and said. Chapter 2032. He wasn't trying to avoid it, but he really thought so because he was going to tell Feng Tianlong and Xiao Susu about this secret. That's fine, we'll talk about it when we get to the restaurant. Yang Ming nodded and didn't say anything else. Xia Shui, on the other hand, was confused and curious. What divine weapon does Lu Yezi have? What happened? It's a long story. When we get to the restaurant, we'll let him explain himself. Yang Ming found it hard to explain Lu Yezi's situation, so he decided to let him explain himself. When Yang Ming arrived at Wang's barbecue, Feng Tianlong and Xiao Susu had already arrived. They were nearby, so they were much faster than Yang Ming and the others. Feng Tianlong had already booked a small private room. Yang Ming, Lu Yezi, Xia Shui, and Huang Lele entered the room together. Because the following conversation involved some confidential matters, the first thing Yang Ming did after entering the room was to check the security of the room to see if there were any eavesdropping or surveillance devices. As an assassin, Yang Ming was very sensitive to these things and could easily find these hidden devices. Captain, I've already checked. Everything is safe. Feng Tianlong saw Yang Ming's actions and was impressed. This captain was also a careful person. Although he wasn't part of the staff, his professionalism wasn't any worse than the people present. It's good that it's safe. Yang Ming said, but he still checked a few blind spots. It wasn't that he didn't trust Feng Tianlong, but Yang Ming was afraid that he would overlook something. In short, it was better to be safe than sorry. Seeing Yang Ming check a few blind spots, Feng Tianlong was even more impressed. There was even a place that he overlooked, but Yang Ming didn't let it go. After Yang Ming checked, he didn't say anything else. A normal restaurant like this wouldn't have eavesdropping or surveillance devices. Yang Ming was just in case. Have you ordered? Yang Ming asked. Not yet, I'm waiting for Captain. Feng Tianlong said, this is a barbecue buffet. The meat is ready-made and will be delivered immediately after you order. There's no need to wait. You guys can just order. It's my first time here, so I don't know what's good, Yang Ming said casually. Alright, then we'll order first. Feng Tianlong didn't argue. They were going to be brothers in the same trench. There was no need to be so polite. He just had to follow orders. The captain's words were orders. There was a self-service food ordering machine in the room, which was very advanced. Yang Ming looked at it. It was a device similar to a KTV music ordering device. As long as you ordered a dish, you could enter a number behind it. When you finished ordering, you could submit it directly. It was also very convenient to add dishes. This was very smart and saved a lot of labor. Yang Ming noted it down and prepared to tell Tianlong and the others when he was free. The tourism hotels on Island X could also adopt this kind of self-service service. Captain, I ordered some meat dishes, desserts and vegetables that the ladies like. Is there anything else you want? Feng Tianlong asked after ordering. Lele, what about you? Yang Ming turned to look at Huang Lele. Nothing else. These are enough. Huang Lele looked at the order and nodded. As a stewardess, Huang Lele wasn't picky about food. She often ate work meals at work, so Huang Lele didn't have the capriciousness of a lady from a big family. Xia Shui and Lu Yezi didn't have much to choose from, so Feng Tianlong directly ordered. Not long after, the waiter sent the dishes in. Everyone, the dishes are all here. Do you want me to demonstrate the method of barbecuing? No need, we're regular customers, Feng Tianlong waved his hand and said. Alright, take your time. If you need anything, just call us directly from the ordering machine." The waiter nodded politely and left. They sat around the table, brushed oil on the iron plate and prepared to barbecue. "Alright, we're all on the same side. There's no need to be so polite. Let's talk while we eat." Yang Ming waved his hand, indicating that they didn't need to be so formal and just eat casually. "In the future, when we're on a mission, we don't need to follow the rules when eating." "Alright. Then we won't be polite." Lu Yezi nodded. "Tianlong, serve the meat." Okay." Feng Tianlong also felt that Yang Ming was very much to his liking as the captain. He didn't put on airs at all, which made him feel very comfortable. "Let's talk about what we're good at while eating. Lu Yezi, you go first." Yang Ming called Lu Yezi's name because Yang Ming was very curious about what the so-called artifact was and what its use was. "I knew that you would be the first to let me speak, boss." "Alright, then I'll speak." Lu Yezi nodded and said directly, "Isn't this mission very dangerous? My family gave me a jade pendant. The function of this jade pendant is very powerful. It has the function of predicting bad luck. For example, if I or my teammates are in danger, I can send out a warning signal in advance, but it's only limited to teammates near the jade pendant, which is to say, teammates who are with me. If they are too far away, then it's useless." "Oh. This thing is quite magical." Yang Ming couldn't help but be a little surprised after hearing Lu Yezi's words. There is such a powerful thing. Of course. Otherwise, how can it be called a divine artifact? Lu Yezi nodded and said, "So, I can tell everyone very responsibly that when we are carrying out the mission, if there is any danger, I will warn everyone in advance. I hope everyone can listen to me." "No problem. Since Lu Yezi has such a powerful treasure, our team's safety warning will be handed to you in the future," Yang Ming said directly. As the captain, Yang Ming's words represented the way the team would fight in the future, so when Yang Ming nodded, the others naturally wouldn't have any objections. "No way, Yezi. I say, you have such a powerful thing. How come we didn't know before?" Feng Tianlong looked at Lu Yezi in surprise and was shocked. "I just got it. If it wasn't for the danger of this mission, my family wouldn't have equipped me with such a powerful equipment." Lu Yezi said, "Where did I get it before?" "How can I tell you? Your family actually has such a good thing. By the way, Yezi, what does your family do? Why didn't you mention it to us once?" Feng Tianlong asked with some interest. "TSK, what does your family do? You didn't tell us either. Your kung fu has reached perfection, so your family is definitely not ordinary." Lu Yezi curled his lips and didn't mention his identity and background. Instead, he led the topic to Feng Tianlong. Chapter 2033. Me. Didn't I say that I had a falling out with my family and am alone now? What's there to say? I've already left my family. What happens to my family has nothing to do with me. It doesn't matter if I say it or not. Feng Tianlong shrugged and said. Falling out. What happened? Yang Ming turned his head and looked at Feng Tianlong curiously. You don't look like such a reckless person. In our job, we can't be reckless, right? This. Feng Tianlong was embarrassed after hearing Yang Ming's words. I know about this. Let me say it. Just look at him and he'll be embarrassed. Lu Yezi was excited. Tianlong's family is very big. I'm not sure what kind of family it is, but it seems to be a hidden family. The kind that people don't know about. Boss, do you understand? I know. Yang Ming nodded. In this world, there were too many big families. They weren't like those on the surface, but these families were usually very low-key. If Yang Ming wasn't an assassin himself, he wouldn't have heard of the butterfly family in Charles' family. As for Tianlong, as the leader of his generation, he was very outstanding. According to their classification, he was young and accomplished. I think he was called the yellow rank. I'm not sure about the details, but he seemed to be very powerful. Lu Yezi said, then his family arranged a marriage for him, but Tianlong liked Su Su and didn't agree to the marriage. Boss, you know Su Su's situation. Tianlong's family was very against it, so in the end, Tianlong broke away from his family. Lu Yezi explained the situation briefly. Although it was simple, Yang Ming could feel how complicated it was to do it. For love, he sacrificed so much. This Feng Tianlong was also infatuated. Okay, Yezi, let's not talk about this. It's meaningless. I feel like I'm the happiest right now. Feng Tianlong waved his hand, let's talk about the main topic. It's just a casual chat. Next up, let's talk about our respective abilities and specialties. Since Yi Zi has spoken, it is your turn, Sky Dragon. Do you have any heaven-defying divine artifacts? Yang Ming asked. I don't have that. Feng Tianlong shook his head, but I'm good at fighting, of course I can't assassinate. At this point, Feng Tianlong scratched his head in embarrassment. Previously, he was almost assassinated by Yang Ming, which made him feel a little embarrassed. Being good at fighting is also an advantage. Yang Ming said, my fighting skills are definitely not a problem for ordinary people, but if I encounter more powerful people, I'm afraid it won't work. If assassination and trickery don't work, Sky Dragon can make up for this shortcoming. The spirit of teamwork is very important. Yang Ming remembered the difficulties when he fought with Tianlong and the steel men like Jetson. If Yang Ming didn't have special abilities, he wouldn't be their opponent at all if he fought head-on. I know, so if I really face the enemy face to face, then I am responsible. Feng Tianlong nodded and said. Su Su is good at the research of voodoo, there is no doubt about this. It's Xia Shue's turn, what about you? Yang Ming turned to look at Xia Shui. At this time, Xia Shui was a little embarrassed. She came here to gain experience. She saw that everyone had their specialties, but she didn't have anything worth praising, so she said awkwardly, my fighting and assassination skills aren't very high. I can only assist everyone. I'm actually here to gain experience. Xia Shui, you don't have to belittle yourself. Maybe you don't know it yourself, but you have your role in this team. At this time, Yang Ming waved his hand and said, when Brother Xia arranged our team, he must have considered it thoroughly before arranging us together. Everyone has their own role. Everyone is together and helps each other. Just like Sky Dragon is good at fighting, Su Su is good at voodoo, and Little Yi has a warning of danger. Xia Shui, you are born in criminal investigation. You have professional knowledge in this area that we can't compare to. In the jungle, a little clue may become a key clue, so don't have that kind of experience mentality. You have to remember that you are an indispensable member of the team. You have your role, and you have to play your role at all times. I believe that Brother Xia considered this when he arranged it. Otherwise, do you think he can arrange it like this just because you are his sister? The mission this time is no joke. Ah. Xia Shui suddenly understood after listening to Yang Ming's analysis. It turns out that I am not useless, but I am useful, not just for experience. Yang Ming is right. Criminal investigation is my strength. I am a professional in this field. No one else can compare to me. I also have an advantage. Yang Ming, I understand. Xia Shui nodded solemnly. This was the first time she was convinced by Yang Ming. At this time, she really regarded Yang Ming as the captain. Yang Ming's overall view was very strong. He could see things that others couldn't see at once. As for me, I have a special ability in addition to assassination. Yang Ming said until here. He paused, lowered his voice, and whispered, "This ability is similar to Lu Yezi's ability. It is very magical." After everyone heard Yang Ming's words, they were immediately attracted by Yang Ming's words. Xia Shui also knew that Yang Ming had some magical things, but Xia Bingbao didn't tell her what was so magical. So at this time, she was also very interested. Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, and even Xiao Susu also widened their eyes and looked at Yang Ming without blinking, waiting for him to continue. "My ability is X-ray vision." "And night vision," said Yang Ming. "X-ray vision. Night vision." Several people couldn't help but exclaim when they heard Yang Ming's words. "Is it true? Isn't this a special ability user? Is there really such a powerful person?" In the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, although there were special ability users, their special ability was only the sixth sense, or using thoughts to manipulate some items at close range. It could be said that it was not particularly useful. However, Yang Ming's ability was very shocking. Night vision was a little worse, but X-ray vision was an ability that only existed in TV and novels. If Yang Ming could X-ray vision, wouldn't he be the god of gamblers? Wait, god of gamblers. Lu Yezi suddenly remembered one thing. When he was in Las Vegas, wasn't Yang Ming the god of gamblers? Chapter 2034. As for Huang Lele, when she heard Yang Ming's words at this time, she also showed an expression of realization. It turned out that when they were in Macau, the reason why Yang Ming was so confident in winning the Nanjing casino was because he had a special X-ray vision ability. With this ability, it would be a waste if he didn't become the god of gamblers. "Boss, when you were in Las Vegas, did you use this ability to win others?" Lu Yezi said in amazement. "Yes, including that time when we were dealing with the steel monster. I also used this ability to find its weakness, and then we killed that guy." Yang Ming nodded and said. "Did I say? Why did you let me hit the soles of his feet? I was wondering how you knew, so it was like this." Lu Yezi said suddenly. Although Huang Lele was also very surprised, she didn't say anything. She didn't want to get involved in Yang Ming's matters. She was just a happy silly woman. As for other things, she didn't want to think about it. "Captain, is what you said true? You have X-ray vision?" Feng Tianlong's expression was a bit strange. He was born in a big family and had heard a little about some magical things. Although Lu Yezi had that kind of amazing treasure, Feng Tianlong's family also had family heirlooms. It was just that he didn't have access to it. However, Yang Ming's X-ray vision ability surprised him. He had never heard of it before. "Why, you don't believe me?" Yang Ming smiled slightly and said, "In your wallet, the number of the 100 yuan bill at the top is." As he said this, Yang Ming said a string of numbers. Yang Ming also knew that his ability was a bit too unbelievable. It wasn't surprising that Feng Tianlong had such an expression. Lu Yezi was someone who had carried out missions with him. He had also heard of his various magical things. Xia Shui was also the same when she dealt with Chen Afu. Therefore, only Feng Tianlong had this kind of expression for the first time. It was normal for him to have this kind of expression. However, Yang Ming didn't explain much. Instead, he used the simplest way to prove this fact. After listening to the number that Yang Ming said, Feng Tianlong quickly took out his wallet from his pocket, took out the bill, and compared the number on it. Xiao Susu also curiously leaned over and looked at the number on the bill with Feng Tianlong. "Ah! It's exactly the same, not a single word is different," Susu said with some shock. "Yes, exactly the same." Feng Tianlong also stood up in surprise. That's too strong. Captain, your ability is stronger than all of us. With this ability, not only can you detect the enemy in advance, but you can also find some weaknesses of the enemy. Ah. I know. Today on the plane, you tricked me into making a bet with you and guessing the color of my underwear. So you saw it directly. At this moment, Xia Shui suddenly woke up and remembered the scene on the plane. Her face immediately turned red. Tell me, what did you see? Did you look randomly? Ugh. Yang Ming just remembered that he used this X-ray vision ability to cheat Xia Shui on the plane before. Now that Xia Shui exposed it, he was a little embarrassed. If you want to see it, you have already seen it. It's not the first time we have met. I'm not the kind of person who likes to X-ray others for no reason. Yang Ming looked at Xia Shui. Humph. Then tell me, did you look at me or not? Xia Shui didn't give up. I did, but that was before. I definitely didn't look today. Yang Ming shook his head. Before? Wow, you had bad thoughts about me before. Xia Shui was a bit angry. Lele, look at your Yang Ming, he's actually looking at other girls. Oh. Huang Lele responded, then he's very good. Others can't even see it. Xia Shui was speechless. Huang Lele was really something. Feng Tianlong and Lu Yezi couldn't help but cover their mouths and laugh. Xiao Susu couldn't help but laugh too. Okay, let's not talk about this. It's good that everyone knows that I have this ability. Yang Ming said, however, what we said before is only known by our internal people. Of course, we don't have to hide it from Brother Xia. He also knows some of my things. After listening to Yang Ming's words, everyone nodded in agreement. After all, these things were very important and involved some personal secrets. It was best not to talk about it. These were the life-saving trump cards of the team. Who knew if there were any spies planted by the opponent in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? The previous Brother Wang had made these people vigilant. They also knew that inside the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it wasn't absolutely safe. At present, the only people they could trust were the internal members of the team and their direct superior, Xia Bingbao. After eating the barbecue, the group returned directly to the base and didn't go anywhere else. Feng Tianlong also knew about Huang Lele's encounter. Although he felt that the opponent would not make a move on him and Xiao Susu, at this moment, it was better to be safe than sorry. It was better to be on guard. Huang Lele also lived in the base of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau with Yang Ming. These days, Yang Ming put her here for Huang Lele's safety. How was it? Did you get along well with each other? Xia Bingbao asked with a smile as he watched Yang Ming and others return to the base. Basically, everyone introduced themselves to each other and got to know each other. Yang Ming nodded and said, Brother Xia, don't worry. I will let the team members familiarize with each other as soon as possible. And this is what I was thinking. How was it? What are your thoughts about tomorrow's special training? Did you change your mind? Xia Bingbao asked. I still have the same words. Let's wait and see. If they are really capable, then I will train with everyone. There is no problem. Yang Ming said, but if they are not capable, I still oppose learning from them. I think it is better for me to personally organize everyone's special training. Okay, then it's settled. Let's wait and see tomorrow. Xia Bingbao saw that Yang Ming insisted, so he didn't say anything more. I have arranged a room for you tonight. You and Miss Huang Lele can share a room. Is that okay? Or do you want to live alone? Do you want 2 rooms? 1 room is fine. Yang Ming nodded. Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shuai all returned to their respective rooms. It could be seen that Feng Tianlong and Xiao Susu had not developed to the point of living together, because they went into two separate rooms. Come to think of it, this action also created a good opportunity for Feng Tianlong's love. If Feng Tianlong could grasp it, he could get the beauty. Xiao Susu's situation really didn't allow him to waste time. Chapter 2035. Yang Ming and Huang Lele didn't have many opportunities to meet. Except for the initial period of time where they were together, there were very few opportunities to be together after that. Therefore, tonight, both of them felt very romantic and warm. Both of them also knew that during this period of special training, the two of them were going to spend another period of warm and beautiful days. Husband, after you leave this time, I want to quit my current job. Huang Lele lay in Yang Ming's arms and said happily, I have thought about it. I am going to Island X to help you build this tourist attraction. Oh. You don't want to be a flight attendant anymore. Huang Lele's words made Yang Ming very surprised. And, I have thought about it. I won't be anymore. Huang Lele shook her head and said, in fact, I can persist until now because I often fly the Donghai route and can often meet you. Now that you are gone, I have no meaning. I feel that there is no hope, so I don't want to get on the plane. Before you met me, didn't you like this job very much? Yang Ming didn't expect Huang Lele to have already decided. In the past, when I go to Donghai, I always want to see Donghai. Now, every time I fly to Donghai, my biggest hope is to be able to see you. After this, I have no hope. Naturally, I want to wait for you to come back with peace of mind. Huang Lele said, in fact, I know that I am a silly girl. Such a girl is a bit cute, but I am also a bit of a vase. During this time, I have thought a lot. I decided to make some changes. I don't want to be a silly and useless woman all my life. There are still so many things to do on Island X. If I just stand by and do nothing, it won't be the case. After listening to Huang Lele's words, Yang Ming sighed deeply. It seemed that Huang Lele really wanted to change, and this girl had slowly grown up and matured unknowingly. She was already somewhat different from the previous Huang Lele. However, Yang Ming was also very gratified. After all, Huang Lele was developing in a good direction. No matter what she became, Yang Ming's love for her would not change. If he liked a person, he had to accept her change. All the women around Yang Ming would change with time. Even Yang Ming himself was changing. Everyone would gradually become more mature and would no longer be the children of the past. It's good that you've decided. No matter what you want to do, I will support you. Yang Ming nodded and said, as long as you're happy, it's fine. But I don't want you to change because of me. I want you to be happier. Of course you have your reasons, but that's not the whole story. I have my own reasons as well. Huang Lele said, I have also grown up. I know what to do and what not to do. I want to help you. As long as I can help you, it is the greatest happiness for me. It's great that you can think this way. Yang Ming said, okay, I'll contact Island X tomorrow. When you go there, you'll be in charge of the airport training there, right? Sooner or later, Island X would build an airport. Yang Ming had already thought about it and let Huang Lele be in charge of this matter. Okay, it just so happens that I'm good at it. Huang Lele did not refuse. Yang Ming had mentioned this to her before, so Huang Lele was not surprised. Go to bed early. Yang Ming smiled. And, yes, after you leave, I want to go to Songjiang City. Huang Lele suddenly said. Oh. Go to Songjiang City. Why? Yang Ming was slightly stunned. I have a good friend in the game called Little Fox Fairy. You know it. I want to see her. Huang Lele said, she is the chairman of a company. She is very good at business. I plan to learn from her for a while before going to Island X. Is that okay? It's okay, but is this person reliable? If you don't know her background, I'm afraid you will be deceived. Yang Ming considered more. Huang Lele was relatively simple, and her friend was known on the internet. They had never met before, so Yang Ming would always be worried. It shouldn't be a problem. We have known each other for a long time. Huang Lele hesitated and said, let's do this. I will ask my friend over there to take you to your netizen. It will be safer this way. The person Yang Ming thought of was Bao Sonli. He wanted Bao Sonli to take Huang Lele to her netizen so that no matter who her netizen was, or if there was any other purpose, with Bao Sonli, the netizen would not dare to act rashly. This was also for Huang Lele's safety. Okay, I will listen to you. Huang Lele also knew that Yang Ming did this for her own good, so she did not refuse. The next morning, Yang Ming, Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shua appeared on the training ground on time. Today was the first day of the special training. They had already agreed last night to gather at the training ground at 6 o'clock. Although Yang Ming was not interested in this training, since he had promised Xia Bingbao, he still appeared here on time. As for Huang Lele, Yang Ming did not disturb her and let her continue to rest in the room. Today is the first day of the special training. The instructors in charge of everyone's special training this time are two assassins that I specially invited from a foreign assassin organization. Xia Bingbao did not hide the identity of the instructors. I also contacted this assassin organization through my connections. I hope that their arrival can play a key role in improving everyone's strength. Yang Ming did not speak. Since they were here, there were some things that did not need to be said. Strength would determine the truth. It made no sense to say anything now. Perhaps everyone may think that there is nothing wrong with being an assassin, but what I want to say is that assassins have the expertise of an assassin. They are very good at assassination, disguise, tracking, and hiding. When you learn these skills, it will be extremely important for jungle combat. Xia Bingbao said, next, please use warm applause to welcome our two instructors. In addition to Yang Ming, Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shua all applauded. Assassins were very mysterious in their eyes, especially the assassins of foreign assassin groups. They should be very professional people. At this moment, they came here to train for everyone, so they should be able to learn a lot. Yang Ming's indifference was also seen in Xia Bingbao's eyes. Xia Bingbao shook his head helplessly, but he did not say anything. Under everyone's gaze, two young people in black clothing walked over to the training ground. They must be the assassins that Xia Bingbao mentioned. Seeing these two people, Yang Ming could not help but be slightly stunned. It can't be, right? How can it be them? Chapter 2036. What surprised Yang Ming was that they were actually invited by Xia Bingbao to be instructors. Yang Ming's expression was a bit weird. I didn't expect Xia Bingbao to be so powerful. He even has a connection with a foreign assassin organization. At this moment, other people's thoughts were similar to Yang Ming's. They were a little surprised. How did Xia Bingbao invite these people? Everyone may be very confused. Why can I invite people from the assassin organization? Xia Bingbao seemed to see through everyone's thoughts. He smiled slightly and explained to everyone, in fact, you don't have to be confused. We have always had some contact with this assassin organization. This is also my personal relationship. When I was training outside, I had a chance to meet the person in charge of this assassin organization. Our relationship was good, so, this time, they gave me face and sent 2 young masters to give everyone special training. Xiao Bingbao smiled slightly and explained to everyone, in fact, you don't have to be confused. Yang Ming suddenly realized after listening to Xiao Bingbao's words. He didn't expect Xiao Bingbao to go out to train when he was young, and he also had some friendship with the leader of the assassin group. However, there was no fundamental conflict between the two, so Yang Ming was not surprised that they had a personal relationship. However, my face is not very big. I have used this favor this time, but there will be no next time. As Xiao Bingbao said this, he sighed slightly as if he was talking to Yang Ming, so I hope that everyone will cherish this opportunity. If it weren't for the high difficulty of this mission, I wouldn't have used this favor to invite these 2 instructors for special training for everyone. Favor. There was an imperceptible smile at the corner of Yang Ming's mouth. It was estimated that if these 2 people saw him here and went back to report, Xiao Bingbao would still have some face in the future. Xiao Bingbao seemed to see Yang Ming smile at that moment. He frowned slightly. In his opinion, the previous words were in vain because it seemed that Yang Ming didn't care at all. Xiao Bingbao could only sigh. Yang Ming was good at everything, but he was a little too proud and arrogant. He only hoped that Yang Ming could be convinced by these 2 people. Otherwise, it would affect the learning mood of the other team members. Then, it would really be a bit of a loss. The 2 assassins came over. Yang Ming knew that there were some things that he wanted to hide, but they couldn't be hidden anymore. However, Yang Ming didn't care now. He had already discussed the conditions with Xiao Bingbao. This was also Yang Ming's last mission, so it didn't matter if some of Yang Ming's relationships were exposed or not. The only disadvantage of being exposed was that Xiao Bingbao had a new reliance. He would have to trouble for Yang Ming in the future. Seeing Yang Ming, the 2 assassins were obviously stunned. They didn't expect to see Yang Ming here. However, being surprised was just being surprised. Yang Ming didn't greet them, so they couldn't take the initiative to talk to Yang Ming. After all, no one knew what Yang Ming was doing here. They didn't want to reveal their identity. Yang Ming, these 2 are the top existences in the assassin world, so I hope you can face up to yourself. If you think you are better than them, you can also spar with them, but I don't want you to give up learning directly. You know, there is a good saying that there is always someone to learn from, so I think it is also beneficial to learn more. Xiao Bingbao finally reminded Yang Ming, then nodded to the 2 assassins and said, I will leave the rest to you. The 2 assassins listened to what Xiao Bingbao said to Yang Ming, and suddenly had a feeling of being dumbfounded. Their expressions were very weird. They looked at each other and didn't know what to say. Come on, you 2 come together. Let me try your skills. Yang Ming looked at the 2 assassins in front of him, smiled slightly, and said to them, this. After the 2 assassins listened to Yang Ming's words, they didn't know what to do. They couldn't go up, and they couldn't not go up either. Wang Kejin, why? I heard that your strength has improved now. How did you become so timid? I remember that when we first met, you attacked directly, right? Yang Ming looked at the assassin in front of him and asked faintly. This assassin was Wang Kejin, the person responsible for assassinating Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan. At that time, Wang Kejin could be said to be a newborn calf that was not afraid of tigers. If Wang Xiaoyan didn't use the butterfly micro-steps, it was likely that he wouldn't recognize his own family. When he heard Yang Ming call his name, Wang Kejin was slightly stunned. He knew that Yang Ming was not going to hide his identity, so he immediately smiled bitterly and said, Brother Yang, aren't you mocking me? How do I have the ability to fight with you? I am afraid that as soon as I make a move, I will be defeated by you. It's just a test. You don't have to be so nervous. Yang Ming smiled slightly and said, make your move. You attack me. As long as you touch my clothes, I lose. Then I will just admit defeat. There are not many people in the world who can break the butterfly microsteps. Wang Kejin smiled bitterly and said, I don't use the butterfly microsteps. Yang Ming shook his head. I only use normal dodging techniques. This is a test for you. Then I won't be polite. Wang Kejin nodded and looked at Yang Ming with a dignified expression. He was ready to attack. The dialogue between Yang Ming and Wang Kejin shocked everyone present, including Xiao Bingbao. They all widened their eyes. Xiao Bingbao didn't expect that the two assassins that he hired with great effort actually knew Yang Ming. And this was not the end of it. When Yang Ming invited them to fight, they didn't even have the courage to fight. What is going on? Is Yang Ming too powerful, or am I deceived? Did the other party just find the two weakest assassins? However, this idea was quickly denied by Xiao Bingbao. Before this, he also found someone to test the skills of these two assassins. They were indeed very strange and powerful. When it came to assassination, he was not their opponent. Therefore, there was only one possibility. That was, Yang Ming was indeed very powerful. He had fought with one of these two assassins, and the assassin was convinced of his defeat. Only this possibility would lead to the current situation. Just when everyone was puzzled, Wang Kejin had already started to make his move. For Yang Ming, Wang Kejin did not dare to have the slightest neglect. Although Yang Ming said that it was just a trial, it was actually a test of his skills. This made Wang Kejin very nervous. What if Yang Ming was disappointed with his skills? Thinking of this, Wang Kejin did not warm up but directly took out some of the unique skills that he had recently practiced. This was a set of boxing techniques. It was a unique skill of the butterfly family. Only the core children of the butterfly family could use it. Including Yang Ming, they did not know this boxing technique. Of course, it was not that the butterfly family did not teach it to Yang Ming, but Yang Ming did not have time to learn. Chapter 2037. During Yang Ming's initial training, he had not been officially confirmed as the son-in-law of the butterfly family, and there was no engagement ceremony. Therefore, these things could not be spread around casually. When Yang Ming visited for the second time, he was busy dealing with other things, so he had no time to learn. Yang Ming looked at Wang Kejin's ordinary but difficult to dodge punch. He was a little puzzled. When Wang Kejin's punch came, Yang Ming wanted to dodge casually, but he found that this punch seemed to have eyes. It covered the position he wanted to dodge as if it could change direction at any time. As for Yang Ming, he had no choice but to use an unconventional dodging method to dodge and quickly retreat backwards. Your punching technique is amazing. You can actually block the normal dodging position. If I didn't react quickly, I would have fallen into your trap. Yang Ming said with some surprise. Thank you, Brother Yang, for the compliment. This is our butterfly family's secret technique. I just learned it. If Brother Yang also understood it, I am afraid this effect would not be achieved. Wang Kejin was a little ashamed. His unexpected punch didn't do anything to Yang Ming. Yang Ming also dodged smoothly. If Yang Ming knew his punching technique, then he would probably be counterattacked by Yang Ming. Again. Use everything you know and let me see. Yang Ming nodded and said. Wang Kejin nodded and began the second round of attacks on Yang Ming. However, although his moves were clever, he was still not Yang Ming's opponent. Brother Yang, I admit defeat. I am not your opponent. After Wang Kejin's repeated attacks were fruitless, he took a deep breath, shook his head, and was ready to give up. I attacked, and you just dodged. This already shows that I have lost. Continue. Let me see your killer move. Yang Ming was unwilling to give up. Final move. Wang Keji nodded, and his figure quickly approached Yang Ming. At the same time as he punched, his body unexpectedly slid behind Yang Ming to the right, preparing to launch a surprise attack on Yang Ming. However, just as Wang Keji was about to throw a punch, Yang Ming did not turn around. Instead, it was as if he had eyes on the back of his head. He quickly moved forward and dodged the attack. After dodging the attack, Yang Ming felt lucky. Wang Keji's move was really weird. If Yang Ming didn't have eyes on his back, it wouldn't be easy to avoid it. The speed of Wang Keji's move was too fast, and the change was too fast. Before the person could react, he suddenly changed the direction. However, if one carefully analyzed it, there were still traces of this move. This move was modified from the butterfly microstep, but it was only a single move. The butterfly microstep was a secret, and even core disciples might not be able to learn it. Not bad. After Yang Ming dodged this move, he couldn't help but cheer loudly, "This move is good. Wang Keji, you teach this move to them." Yang Ming's words suddenly made Xia Bingbao's eyes light up. As the saying goes, the layman enjoys the excitement, and the expert appreciates the skill. These bystanders were all experts. Xia Bingbao also saw the power of this move, so he was very tempted by Yang Ming's proposal. He originally wanted to mention it, but because this was the core of the other party, Xia Bingbao knew that even if he proposed it, the other party would not teach it. After all, these things were not part of the other party. It was impossible to teach it casually. Saying it would only increase the awkwardness. However, if he didn't say it, Xia Bingbao was still a little unwilling. Just as he was hesitating, Yang Ming made this request first. Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shuai also looked at Wang Keji with some excitement. Obviously, they were also very interested in this move. This was a move that could be used to win in a battle. If they learned it, it would be useful for a lifetime. It was also a good way to save their lives in a critical moment. They wanted to learn it, but they were too embarrassed to mention it. However, it was different when Yang Ming mentioned it. It could be seen that Yang Ming and this Wang Keji were very familiar. Wang Keji was a little embarrassed. This was the butterfly family's secret skill. If it was spread out, the family master would blame him. Wang Keji couldn't handle it. However, Yang Ming was the son-in-law of the butterfly family. If he refused, Wang Keji didn't know what to do. You can rest assured about this. I will talk to father-in-law. Yang Ming smiled slightly and saw Wang Keji's thoughts, so he comforted him. Okay, as long as the family master agrees, then I will naturally do my best. Wang Keji had no burden and immediately promised. Father-in-law. When Yang Ming said this, Xia Bingbao, Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shuai were all stunned. What father-in-law? Who is Yang Ming's father-in-law? Listening to Wang Keji's words, the father-in-law that Yang Ming mentioned is their family master. What is going on? This is messy enough. Yang Ming, you just said. Xia Bingbao hesitated and asked. My father-in-law is the family master of the butterfly family, Wang Songshan. Yang Ming didn't hide it. At this point, there was nothing that Yang Ming couldn't say. Ah. Your father-in-law. Xia Bingbao was stunned. Your father-in-law, isn't he Qin Fei? Ugh, one of my fathers-in-law. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. You know, my situation is a bit complicated and special, and... I know. Xia Bingbao was speechless for a while. But how can you be related to the butterfly family? I'm actually an assassin, but I don't belong to the butterfly family. I belong to the kind that works alone. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. This marriage was arranged by my master. It's a bit weird, I say, Yang Ming, can you not surprise me? It turns out that you have such a relationship with the butterfly family. If I knew this, I wouldn't have wasted this favor. No, I have to talk to your father-in-law. Our relationship is as close as brothers. This favor doesn't count. In the future, people will often come to help me train. Xia Bingbao said shamelessly. Up to you. Yang Ming was also a little speechless. Since you didn't ask, I naturally didn't say these things. It has nothing to do with the mission. It's not important. So, you also know that the general special training has no effect on me, but it is necessary to let them train my team members. Seeing Wang Kejin's skill, Yang Ming also changed his mind. He was going to let him train Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shui. This would be of great benefit to them in the future. Yang Ming also wanted to join the training, but his identity was the same as Wang Kejin's. He was an instructor. Chapter 2038. What's your name? I think you look familiar, but I don't remember your name. Yang Ming turned to look at another young man next to Wang Kejin and asked. Young Master Yang, my name is Wang Keisu. I am also a disciple of the younger generation of the butterfly family. Wang Keisu was not as familiar with Yang Ming as Wang Kejin, so he called Yang Ming Young Master Yang instead of Brother Yang. Wang Keisu, who is more powerful between you and Wang Kejin? Yang Ming nodded. It seemed that the disciples of this generation of the butterfly family had similar names. I'm ashamed. Wang Kejin is a little better than me. Wang Keisu said with some embarrassment. Well, in that case, the three of us will serve as instructors and carry out special training for my team members. Yang Ming didn't need to test Wang Keku's skill. Since he was worse than Wang Kejin, he was naturally not Yang Ming's opponent. However, Yang Ming thought that he shouldn't be much worse than Wang Kejin. After all, they were sent together. It wouldn't be good if the difference in strength was too great. Yes. Wang Keisu responded quickly. This result made Xia Bingbao very satisfied. Although it was somewhat different from what he expected, Yang Ming changed from a student to an instructor. Yang Ming did indeed have the strength to serve as an instructor. Similarly, the strength of Wang Kejin and Wang Keisu could not be underestimated. With Yang Ming leading, he believed that this special training should have a qualitative improvement for these members. Time passed quickly. On the training ground, only Yang Ming, Wang Kejin, and Wang Keisu's urging, and Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shui's hard work were left. Although it was only a short 10 days, everyone felt very fulfilled. They learned a lot of skills that they never had before. Everyone was even more confident about this mission. Originally, everyone's mood was a little perturbed. They all thought that this was a one-way trip. This kind of negative attitude was not a good thing, but now, everyone was full of morale. At the military airport, a special plane took off. Yang Ming bid farewell to Huang Lele. Xia Bingbao, Wang Kejin, and Wang Keisu took the team members and flew to Yunnan Miaojiang. However, while they were flying from Yunnan to their destination, in Songjiang City, the Yang family's villa in Huaxiang district, it was not calm. Chen Mengyan sat on the sofa with a very bad expression. On the coffee table in front of her, there was an open courier bag, and on the courier bag, there was a stack of photos. The male lead in the photos were all the same person, but there were many female leads. The male lead was naturally Yang Ming. As for the female lead, in addition to Chen Mengyan herself, there was also Lin Jiyun, Zhou Jiejie, Lan Ling, Su Ya. However, in addition to these people, there was actually Xia Shui, Xiao Qing, Sun Jie, Jing Xiaolu, Xiao Ying, Victoria, Wang Xiaoyan. There were also 2 women that he didn't know. One was wearing a flight attendant costume, and the other seemed to be Lu Huamei. Chen Mengyan had seen this Lu Huamei on TV before, but why does she know Yang Ming? Moreover, Yang Ming was now pushing open the door of a hotel room and entering the room, while Lu Huamei was only wearing pajamas. What is the relationship between these 2 people? Of course, this photo was the most ordinary one. The rest of the photos of Yang Ming and other women were much more intimate than this. And there was more than one photo. If it was only one photo, then Chen Mengyan would not be so angry. If someone wanted to frame Yang Ming, it was not too difficult to capture a plausible photo. However, there were dozens of photos of Yang Ming with Xiao Qing, Sun Jie, Jing Xiaolu, Xiao Ying, Victoria, Wang Xiaoyan, and the woman in the air stewardess costume. This could not be a frame, nor could it be a coincidence. Yang Ming and these women, some were holding hands, some were sitting in the car intimately, some were kissing in the corner, and some were going to the hotel together. Chen Mengyan did not know what to feel at this moment. Xiao Qing, isn't she Yang Ming's godsister? Why is she related to Yang Ming? The 2 of them even kissed. Chen Mengyan would not believe it if they were just ordinary god-sister and god-brother relationship. Forget about this, Xiao Ying and Yang Ming are actually related. Seeing a group of photos, Yang Ming and Xiao Ying hugging each other and hiding under a car, and the next photo was Yang Ming looking for Yang Ming nearby. Chen Mengyan was so angry that her face turned red. Isn't this that time at the resort in Donghai when I went to catch the adulterers? Yang Ming and Xiao Ying really have a relationship. That Fan Jinja really did not wrong Yang Ming. The most ridiculous thing was that I was like a fool at that time and didn't believe it. Thinking about it now, Fan Jinja was probably laughing to death in his heart, right? Looking at the photos behind, Chen Mengyan's heart was about to explode. This was a photo of Yang Ming and Xiao Ying getting a room at the Moon on the Sea resort, and Zhou Jijia was actually there too. That day, I actually believed Zhou Jijia's words, but I didn't expect that Zhou Jijia was also an accomplice in that incident. Chen Mengyan suddenly had an urge to cry. Everyone knows, but I don't. It's really pitiful and sad. Jijia, how can you lie to me? You already knew, right? You already knew that Yang Ming and Xiao Ying were related. Chen Mengyan turned to look at Zhou Jijia, who was a little pale, and questioned. Sister Mengyan. Zhou Jijia bit her lip and didn't know how to say it. She was indeed wrong to hide this matter, but she was in the middle and was in a dilemma. If she told Chen Mengyan, she would offend Xiao Ying. If she didn't tell, okay, don't say it. I'm a big fool. Chen Mengyan covered her forehead in pain. She felt that she was so stupid. Originally, she thought that Yang Ming should be satisfied with so many women. With these people accompanying him to live in Island X, what regrets did he have? But now it seemed that she was too naive. Yang Ming was a womanizer. He was a womanizer. I was really blind. I actually believed Yang Ming's words, Sister Mengyan, I'm sorry. I knew about Yang Ming and Xiao Ying, Sister Xiao Qing, and Sister Mengyan before, but I was afraid that you would be sad if you knew, so I didn't tell you. And Jing Xiaolu, I also noticed some. Zhou Jijia looked at Chen Mengyan's pain and said frankly, but Sister Mengyan, I didn't mean it, Jing Xiaolu. She likes Yang Ming. I noticed some of it, but I didn't take it seriously at first. I thought that Yang Ming wouldn't like a little delinquent girl like her, but I didn't expect Yang Ming to actually. How can he be so vulnerable to temptation? Chen Mengyan's voice was a little choked. But even if he was with Jing Xiaolu, why didn't he tell me? Why did he hide it from me and lie to me? Chapter 2039. Sister Mengyan, I'm sorry. I should have told you earlier. Zhou Jijia looked at Chen Mingyan's sad look and sighed. It's not your fault. It's very difficult for you to be caught in the middle. Chen Mengyan waved her hand and said, Wang Xiaoyan, Jing Xiaolu, Sun Jia, Victoria, and Xia Shuo are fine. But why are Zhao Ying and Xiao Qing with him? Chen Mengyan wasn't a stingy person, but Yang Ming suddenly had so many female confidants. Chen Mengyan found it somewhat difficult to accept. What made it even more difficult for her to accept was Xiao Qing and Zhao Ying. One was Yang Ming's god-sister. Although she was his god-sister, she was much older than Yang Ming. Why did Yang Ming and her? Zhao Ying was Yang Ming's and her former teacher. Although she wasn't now, she was only Yang Ming's and her senior, but Chen Mingyan's heart couldn't accept it. Sister Mengyan. Don't be angry. Zhou Jijia comforted her, but she didn't know how to comfort her. She had no experience in this area. Sister Lin didn't know what to say. She just looked at Chen Mengyan silently. Sister Mengyan. It's all my fault. If I wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to set this precedent. Yang Ming wouldn't be so unscrupulous, oh. Chen Mengyan listened to Lin Jian's comfort and was stunned. Then, she smiled bitterly, Sister Lin, what does this have to do with you? I said it before. I can barely accept those people, but Zhao Ying and Xiao Qing, one is Yang Ming's and my former teacher, and the other is Yang Ming's and my god-sister. The relationship between them is too awkward. Sister Mengyan, I think that since things are already like this, it's useless to be angry. It's better to think about what to do in the future. Besides, Yang Ming isn't here. The authenticity of these photos can't be determined. Maybe it's photoshopped. Zhou Jijia thought about it and said, I'm a computer expert myself, so I'm sure that if it was me, I could make these photos. If there was a person with the same skills as me, it wouldn't be difficult to make these photos. Zhou Jijia's implication was that these photos might be fake. She wanted Chen Mengyan to calm down first. However, in fact, with Zhou Jijia's understanding of Yang Ming and her careful examination of these photos, Zhou Jijia had already determined that these photos were real and not photoshopped. At least, she didn't see any unnatural Photoshop. If it was photoshopped, it could only be said that this person's skills were too good. He was better than Zhou Jijia. Yeah, some of these photos may be real, and some may be splashing dirty water on Yang Ming. Take this Lu Huamei for example. Yang Ming may not be related to her. Lin Jiyun also opened her mouth and analyzed, Sister Mengyan, do you remember that you told me before? Wang Jitao once showed you a few photos, so it caused a misunderstanding between you and Yang Ming. Now you know the truth of the matter. I'm the person involved, but it's not like the association of the photos you saw. There's more to this matter, right? So we don't know if there's more to these photos now. Sister Mengyan, you have to calm down. After listening to Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun's words, Chen Mingyan's mind suddenly calmed down. Zhou Jijia was right. The authenticity of the photos was unknown. Who knew if there was more to it? I heard that Zhou Jijia was also made into an XX video, which almost fooled Yang Ming. Lin Jiyun's words were also very important. Yeah, I've already been fooled by Wang Jitao once before. What I saw might not be true. This sentence is very reasonable. Okay, then let's confirm the authenticity of these photos now. Chen Mengyan nodded and decided to test the authenticity of the photos. She already had a plan in her heart on how to test. How do you determine? Zhou Jijia and Lin Jiyun looked up and asked at the same time. Call them and let them come over to see the photos at the same time. If these photos are true, then as long as one person admits it, the others will subconsciously follow suit. Of course, except for those who really have no problems. Chen Mengyan was worthy of being Qin Fei's daughter. She also learned how to observe people's expressions. And this can also get these people to come together. If it's true, then, let's take it one step at a time. Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun knew that 80% of the things were true. Chen Mengyan did this, but it also made things worse all of a sudden. And if this matter was really true, then there was no room for maneuvering at all, but now it seemed that Chen Mengyan was determined to call these people over. Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun didn't stop her. At this time, it was useless to stop her. Chen Mengyan's suspicion had already been raised. It was impossible not to solve it. Looking at Chen Mengyan picking up the phone, she first dialed Xiaoqing's phone. Sister Xiaoqing. I'm Mengyan. Are you free? Can you come to my house? Okay, I'll wait for you. Chen Mengyan's tone was very normal. There was nothing wrong with it, but the more it was like this, the more worried Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun were. It would be more and more uncontrollable later. Sister Xiaoying. I'm Mengyan. Do you have time now? Can you come to my house? What? You and Wang Xiaoyan are shopping. That's great. You can come together. There is something. You will know when you come. Chen Mengyan thought. This time, she didn't have to look for Wang Xiaoyan alone. Xiaolu. I'm Chen Mengyan. Come to my house. I have something to talk to you about. Chen Mengyan called every female lead in the photos. Except for Huang Lele, who she didn't know, Suya, and Lan Ling, the others were called to her house by Chen Mengyan. Of course, there was also Xia Shui and Lu Huamei. Xia Shui's phone couldn't be connected, and Chen Mengyan didn't have Lu Huamei's phone number. After the phone call, Chen Mengyan quickly sorted the photos on the table according to each person and put them back into the portfolio. In a while, when they come, you two don't talk. Listen to me. Chen Mengyan said. Okay. Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie had no choice but to nod. Although the two of them didn't want to make things worse, they couldn't decide. They could only wait and see. After doing all this, the doorbell of the villa came from the villa's door in a short while. Lin Jiyun got up and opened the door helplessly. I don't know who will be the first person to come. Chapter 2040. What Lin Jiyun didn't expect was that the first person to come was actually Jing Xiaolu. Sister Lin, hello. I heard that Sister Mengyan is looking for me. What's the matter? Jing Xiaolu walked in with a smile. She didn't realize that the atmosphere in the room was a bit strange, and she didn't notice the helpless expression on Lin Jiyun's face. Hello, Xiaolu. I don't know. You can only ask Sister Mengyan. Lin Jiyun shook her head. She wouldn't say much about Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. Okay. Jing Xiaolu entered the villa and saw that Chen Mengyan was sitting on the sofa at the moment, so she said, Sister Mengyan, are you looking for me? Xiaolu, you're here. Sit down first. Chen Mengyan's expression didn't seem to be inappropriate as she smiled and gestured to Jing Xiaolu to sit on the opposite sofa. Okay, but Sister Mengyan, what's the matter? Jing Xiaolu's heart was actually a little perturbed. Yang Ming transferred the shares of Ming Yang Entertainment to her name, but Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's real girlfriend. What if she asked for these shares back? Jing Xiaolu wasn't reluctant to return them to Chen Mengyan, but she finally had a career to display her talents. Jing Xiaolu didn't want to give up. Although she was greedy for money, it was only a small amount. She had no idea about the huge market value of Mingyang Entertainment. In Jing Xiaolu's opinion, she could live comfortably with 3 or 5 million yuan in her life. No matter how much money she had, it didn't make much sense. However, when Yang Ming left, Jing Xiaolu promised Yang Ming that she would manage the company for him. Now that he called out the company, she was somewhat reluctant. Therefore, Jing Xiaolu couldn't wait to know why Chen Mengyan was looking for her. It's not a big deal. I just want to talk to you about something, but there are still people who haven't arrived yet. Let's wait for them. When everyone is here, we'll talk about it together. Chen Mengyan smiled and gestured to Jing Xiaolu to be patient. Jing Xiaolu nodded. Since Chen Mengyan said so, she could only give up for the time being. After all, Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's real girlfriend. Chen Mengyan didn't speak at this time. She just waited quietly for the next guest. Jing Xiaolu felt that the atmosphere was a little strange, but she didn't know what was going on when she saw the faint smile on Chen Mengyan's mouth. The doorbell rang again. Lin Jiyun got up to open the door again, but this time, it was Zhao Ying and Wang Xiaoyan. Sister Ying, Yan, you're here. Lin Jiyun nodded to them. To be honest, Wang Xiaoyan wasn't very familiar with her. They didn't have much interaction, but because they were neighbors, they would see each other frequently. So, their relationship was still good overall. And, Jiyun, I don't know why you're looking for us so urgently. What's the matter? Did something happen at home? Why did you ask Yan to come together? Zhao Ying was confused by Chen Mingyan's phone call. She didn't know what happened. I don't know. Sister Ying, why don't you ask Sister Mengyan? Lin Jiyun still said this sentence. Her character was aloof, so she didn't want to offend anyone. She could only keep silent. Mengyan, why did you suddenly call us? Zhao Ying walked into the villa's hall and saw Chen Mengyan. She asked with a smile. Sister Ying, you're here. Why don't you sit down first? There are still people who haven't come yet. When everyone is here, let's talk about business. Chen Mengyan said with a smile, Yan, you sit down too. Although Zhao Ying was a bit puzzled about why Chen Mengyan was looking for her, she still had to wait for everyone to come. However, when she saw that Jing Xiaolu was also here, Zhao Ying was even more puzzled. She greeted her and sat next to her. Wang Xiaoyan was a person who didn't like to talk much. Except for Yang Ming and Zhao Ying, she almost didn't talk to others. Even if it was a neighbor, she just nodded and sat down. Her small face was cool, and there was no smile. After a while, the doorbell rang again. Sun Jia, Xiaoqing, and Victoria also came. Victoria had now changed her name to Qinmingxi. She lived in the Huashang district. Yang Ming bought a house here for her. The purpose was also to let her secretly protect Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia. For Chen Mengyan, she was the easiest to accept Qinmingxi. Last time when she, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jiyun were in danger, it was Chen Mengyan who stepped forward. As her personal bodyguard, she had a relationship with Yang Ming. After all, everyone was very familiar with each other. Having a relationship was more reliable than having no relationship. But for the others, Chen Mengyan wasn't so easy to accept. So when these people arrived, Chen Mengyan said faintly, everyone is here. I won't say anything unnecessary. Everyone should be very clear about who I am. I won't introduce myself, so I will go straight to the topic and show everyone something. As Chen Mengyan said, she opened the express delivery bag next to her and took out the photos inside. Then, everyone stacked them on the coffee table, facing everyone. Seeing Chen Mengyan's action, the people present were stunned. They didn't know what she meant, but after everyone picked up the photos, everyone's face changed. All of them became extremely ugly. They didn't expect that the photos of them being intimate with Yang Ming would actually fall into the hands of Qin Mengyan. Moreover, it wasn't just one photo. Each person had a dozen or even dozens of photos. The dates on these photos were basically from when they first got together with Yang Ming until a few days ago when Yang Ming left. Almost every period of time was not missed. How is it? Does anyone have anything to say? Qin Mengyan suppressed her anger and looked at the women in the room. Every one of them was extremely beautiful. They were not worse than her, but they all treated her like a fool. She had seen these people before. Some of them were even familiar with them, but they hid it from her and secretly dated Yang Ming. How could Qin Mengyan put her face? At this moment, the palest ones were Zhao Ying and Xiao Qing. Only these two people's situation was the most special. The others were not too ugly, but they were a little embarrassed. Wang Xiaoyan didn't take it seriously at all. After looking at the photos a few times, she just said faintly, "It's taken well. I can take it back as a souvenir." You. Qin Mengyan heard Wang Xiaoyan's provocative words, and suddenly she was furious. She pointed at her and said bitterly, "Do you still have any face? Don't you feel ashamed? As her neighbor, you actually secretly seduced my husband." Chapter 2041. Your husband. Are you married? Did you have a wedding? Wang Xiaoyan looked at Qin Mengyan with some disdain. Her words had a hint of disdain. As a matter of fact, Wang Xiaoyan was Yang Ming's legal wife. With Yang Ming's master and her father as the matchmaker, and with many celebrities from the upper class in Europe attending the engagement ceremony, she was the most qualified to call Yang Ming as her husband. Qin Mengyan was suddenly speechless. She didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to dare to refute in this case. "I'm Yang Ming's legal girlfriend. How can a mistress who cheated on me be so arrogant?" Qin Mengyan was so angry that she couldn't speak. You're still so confident. So what if I'm confident? I didn't do anything wrong. You like Yang Ming, so why can't others like him? Yang Ming belongs to your family. Wang Xiaoyan snorted and said with a cool face. Everyone knows that I'm Yang Ming's legal girlfriend. Qin Mengyan was so angry. Legal girlfriend? You still have two at home. How do you count? Aren't Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia Yang Ming's legal girlfriend? Wang Xiaoyan asked. This. Qin Mengyan didn't know how to answer. She didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to be so eloquent. If she said no, wouldn't she offend Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun? If she said yes, wouldn't it mean that what she said before was a joke? For a time, Qin Mengyan was in a dilemma. Yen, don't say it. Zhao Ying felt that she was in the wrong at the moment. As a friend of Wang Xiaoyan, when she saw Qin Mengyan was so angry, she suddenly felt bad, so she reminded Wang Xiaoyan. After all, Zhao Ying also felt that Qin Mengyan was Yang Ming's legal girlfriend, and they were all sneaky and shady. At this time, they were caught by Qin Mengyan, and the photos were taken. What else was there to dispute? Apologizing as soon as possible was the most important thing. Seeing Zhao Ying's appearance at the moment, Qin Mengyan didn't doubt it. It seemed that the things in the photos were true. Until now, after these people saw the photos, no one refuted. What did this mean? It meant that they acquiesced to the content of the photos. Zhao Ying. You don't have to pretend to be a good person, you are simply too shameless. When Qin Mengyan heard Zhao Ying persuading Wang Xiaoyan, she was even more annoyed. She used to treat Zhao Ying as a big sister. She told her worries, and she asked her more than once about the relationship between her and Yang Ming. But what about her? She denied every time. I even apologized to her because I misunderstood her and Yang Ming. Now it seemed that apologizing was simply a fool's behavior. She was actually having an affair with Yang Ming. I'm sorry. Meng Yan. Zhao Ying knew that she was in the wrong when Chen Mengyan said this. She lowered her head and didn't know what to say. Sorry. Humph. What's the use of sorry? Zhao Ying, what I said before wasn't wrong. You are a vixen. You really don't feel ashamed. Chen Mengyan accused her angrily. Chen Mengyan wasn't a girl who liked to scold people. On the contrary, she didn't like the words vixen. But at this moment, she was extremely angry. She didn't care about her image. Her husband was going to be divided up by others. How could Chen Mengyan still maintain her rationality? For a long time, Chen Mengyan had been trying to change. For love, for Yang Ming, she kept catering to others. From a little girl who couldn't tolerate sand in her eyes, she became a tolerant hostess. For Yang Ming's mistakes again and again, Chen Mengyan had no choice but to forgive. Not only did she take the initiative to accept Zhou Jiejie and Lin Jiyun, but she also invited them to live together in the villa. Even before Yang Ming left, Chen Mengyan also invited Lan Ling and Suya to be guests. There were very few women who could be so magnanimous. It could be said that Chen Mengyan's change was obvious to all. But this time, what Yang Ming did, or what these women did, was a bit beyond Chen Mengyan's bottom line. 5 women were already quite a lot. As the saying goes, 3 women make a play. 5 women plus Yang Ming could sing 2 plays. It was almost enough. But now, according to the number in the photo, there were more than 10 of them. What was going on? Even the ancient emperors weren't like this, right? Even if Yang Ming accompanied a girl every night, each person would only turn twice a month. Therefore, Chen Mengyan was really unhappy. Xiaoqing, I used to call you Sister Xiaoqing. I treated you as my sister, but what did you do? Chen Mengyan didn't want to talk to Zhao Ying anymore. She turned to look at Xiaoqing. You are Yang Ming's god-sister, and Yang Ming is your god-brother, but you too. Humph, very good. You really became a god-sister and a god-brother. I just want to silently support Yang Ming. Xiaoqing hesitated and said truthfully, although I feel very guilty in my heart, what I said before is true. It comes from the bottom of my heart. I like Yang Ming. I love him, so I don't want to add more burdens and troubles to him. If this matter wasn't exposed today, maybe I wouldn't have publicized this matter in my life. Xiaoqing hesitated and said truthfully, although I feel very guilty in my heart, what I said before is true. It comes from the bottom of my heart. I like Yang Ming. I love him, so I don't want to add more burdens and troubles to him. Underground relationship. Shameless. Chen Mengyan snorted and said disdainfully. Chen Mengyan, pay attention to your words. Xiaoqing and Yang Ming are god-sisters, but you also know that they are god-sisters, not biological sisters. That means they have no relationship. Yang Ming isn't married, and Xiaoqing isn't married. Why can't they be together? Sun Jia couldn't stand it anymore. She wasn't a good person. Previously, she told Yang Ming that if Chen Mengyan dared to pick a fight, she wouldn't be polite. If Chen Mengyan didn't take the initiative to find trouble, then she wouldn't deal with Chen Mengyan. But now, Chen Mengyan continuously scolded her 2 good friends, Zhao Ying and Xiaoqing. She finally couldn't bear it anymore. You aren't a good person. It's not your turn to interrupt here. Chen Mengyan looked at Sun Jia coldly. You look like a sly fox. Most likely, you seduced Yang Ming first. Sun Jia was stepped on by Chen Mengyan, and she suddenly exploded. Chen Mengyan was right. If the original matter was seriously calculated, it was indeed Sun Jia who seduced Yang Ming first, and it wasn't Yang Ming who took the initiative to find her. If she didn't let Yang Ming pretend to be her boyfriend, how could there be this scene in the hotel room? Chapter 2042. Miss Chen Mengyan, please be clear about your position. You are just one of Yang Ming's girlfriends. Don't feel good about yourself and call yourself a real girlfriend. Among us, which one of us isn't a real girlfriend? Who was Sun Jia? She was originally a very strong woman. Although she was very docile in front of Yang Ming recently, it definitely didn't mean that she would be docile to others. She had long had the idea of replacing Chen Mengyan as the main wife. Sun Jia knew more about Yang Ming's affairs. The X-Island in Africa was currently under construction. When the construction was completed, it was estimated that they would move there collectively. In Yang Ming's harem, there would inevitably be a harem master. Sun Jia felt that Chen Mengyan was obviously not suitable for this position, so she wanted to replace her. If she hadn't promised Yang Ming before that she wouldn't fight for it, Sun Jia would have already planned this matter. What kind of person was Sun Jia? She was a person who was more shrewd than a fox, so Chen Mengyan wasn't wrong to call her a fox. You, what kind of a real girlfriend are you? Chen Mengyan was angry. This Sun Jia can really distort the facts. How did she become a real girlfriend? If I don't count, then what are you? Sun Jia's mouth twitched slightly. You want to be a real girlfriend, so you self-proclaimed, right? I don't want to see you. Chen Mengyan was almost crying. What kind of person is she? She doesn't have any sense of shame. She said this to me confidently here. Why doesn't she have the awareness of a mistress? I don't want to see you either. If you want to be a real girlfriend, then be it yourself. Let's go our own way. Don't interfere with each other. Let's rely on our own abilities. Sun Jia said faintly, Xiao Qing, Xiao Ying, Jing Xiaolu, there are people here who can't tolerate you. Why don't you go with me? This. Xiao Qing and Xiao Ying suddenly had some difficulties. They were good friends with Sun Jia, but because of Yang Ming, they didn't want to hurt Chen Mengyan. Go, go, go. We don't need you here. Chen Mengyan did not expect things to develop to this point. Since it was like this, then forget it. There was no need to talk about it. They could do whatever they wanted. Out of sight, out of mind. He asked you to leave, why are you still not leaving? Sun Jia glanced at Zhao Ying, Xiao Qing, and Jing Xiaolu and said, Wang Xiaoyan and Victoria, right? Are you leaving or not? Of course I'm leaving. Wang Xiaoyan wouldn't spoil Chen Mengyan. As for Victoria, Wang Xiaoyan said, Victoria, listen to me. Go with me. Victoria initially recognized Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan as her masters. Now that Yang Ming was no longer around, she naturally followed Wang Xiaoyan's orders. If Wang Xiaoyan asked her to leave, she would naturally leave. Jiyun, haven't you always wanted to learn business from me? You go to Donghai with me and follow me in the future. This is also what Yang Ming told me when he left. He wants you to learn from me. You won't even listen to Yang Ming's words, right? Sun Jia looked at Lin Jiyun and asked. This. Lin Jiyun was suddenly in a dilemma. At this time, it was really difficult for her to make a choice. She didn't want to betray Chen Mengyan. Although Lin Jiyun stood aloof from worldly affairs, she wasn't stupid. At this time, she naturally knew that Sun Jia was dividing the forces around Chen Mengyan. If she left, then Chen Mengyan would only have Zhou Jiejia as her assistant. Sun Jia's side had an absolute advantage, so Lin Jiyun was in a dilemma. If what Sun Jia said was really Yang Ming's arrangement, then Lin Jiyun naturally had to listen. But what should Chen Mengyan do? Jia, don't you want to study computer experiments with Qing Qing? When are you going back to school? Yang Ming is gone. You should also move to school, right? Sun Jia looked at Zhou Jia and asked. Zhou Jia was stunned. Indeed, Yang Ming wanted to leave before, so she asked for leave from the school's laboratory to come back. Since Yang Ming was gone, she naturally had to go back to school to continue participating in the research. This was a new network protocol topic, which was what Zhou Jia yearned for and liked. If she gave up, Zhou Jia naturally wouldn't be reconciled. However, she also understood Sun Jia's meaning. She was the same as Lin Jiyun. She didn't know how to answer. Chen Mengyan looked at Sun Jia and was suddenly dumbfounded. This woman is so powerful and vicious. With just a few words, she divided my alliance. If even Zhou Jia and Lin Jiyun don't support me, then how can I fight with these people? Originally, Chen Mengyan was very calm. When she called these women, she was also very calm. She had a feeling that everything was under control. In fact, when Chen Mengyan just took out the photos for everyone, she did have this feeling. Looking at everyone's surprise, Chen Mengyan also felt that she could grasp the psychology of these people. But now, things were completely off track. Sun Jia had the attitude of setting up her own faction. You are shameless. Wang Xiaoyan, why did you take Chen Mingxi away? She was arranged by Yang Ming to protect me. She is also my sister. She has the same name as me. Chen Mengyan didn't have time to blame Chen Mingxi at this time. She had no one on her side. Naturally, she would fight for as many as she could. Originally, Chen Mengyan's purpose was very simple. She called these people and let them leave silently in guilt. But now, not to mention leaving, these people had set up their own factions. She was going to be alone soon. How could Chen Mengyan not be anxious? Why? I will do what I want to do. If you yell again, I will kill you. Wang Xiaoyan snorted coldly, but there was a dagger in her hand. It seemed that if Chen Mengyan said another word, she would end Chen Mengyan with a dagger. You dare. Chen Mengyan was shocked. She didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to threaten her with a dagger. There is no such thing as daring or not. Wang Xiaoyan said faintly, maybe you don't know yet. I am an assassin. If I want to kill you, it's easy. Chen Mengyan wanted to cry. What kind of characters are Yang Ming and these women? Sun Jia is hard enough to deal with, and here is another who wants to kill people. What the hell is going on? Yan quickly put away the dagger. If Yang Ming sees you like this, he won't be happy. Zhao Ying was also shocked. She quickly dissuaded Wang Xiaoyan. If she yells like this, will Yang Ming be happy? Wang Xiaoyan said this, but she still put away the dagger. However, she opened a group of photos on a mobile phone and threw it in front of Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming and I are engaged. My father and Yang Ming's master are matchmakers. If you want to see who is the real one, who is qualified. It doesn't matter if you have the loudest voice. Chapter 2043. Although Chen Mengyan didn't want to believe it, she looked at the picture on the phone in her hand. Wang Xiaoyan and Yang Ming were standing on the stage, and there were many guests under the stage. This was a picture of the engagement banquet. Chen Mengyan didn't expect that the identity of this Wang Xiaoyan was so powerful. She was already engaged to Yang Ming. If I really want to be serious, then wouldn't I be a mistress? See the picture. You still say that you are the real one. Sun Jia appreciated Wang Xiaoyan more. She was a fierce character, so she had to rope her in. The most important point was that Wang Xiaoyan didn't show the intention of being the master of the harem. She just wanted to maintain her own position. Therefore, she became the target of Sun Jia's roping. I am the first one to establish a relationship with Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan didn't have the confidence to say this. That's not right, right? As far as I know, the first one to establish a relationship with Yang Ming was Suya. Even if this doesn't count, then the first one to confess should be Zhao Ying, right? Sun Jia was more familiar with Zhao Ying's affairs. She helped her to analyze and give ideas. The first one he had a relationship with was Sister Lin. This should count. Chen Mengyan was suddenly anxious. Oh, Sister Lin is also fine. Then you admit that you aren't the real one, and Lin Jiyun is? Sun Jia asked with a smile. Chen Mengyan was suddenly speechless. She said this in a hurry just to argue with Sun Jia. But now, she calmed down and thought about it carefully. Wasn't Lin Jiyun roped in by Sun Jia? In this way, Sun Jia still has the advantage. Why? You don't want to say anymore. Sun Jia looked at Chen Mengyan with a smile and asked sarcastically. All of you are bullying me. Chen Mengyan finally broke down. Her tears fell down like a waterfall. She felt so wronged and sad. What did I do wrong? I want to drive away the other women around Yang Ming. This is also a natural thing, right? Which wife wants her man to have other women? Moreover, Chen Mengyan felt that she was tolerant enough. She could accept Lin Jiyun, Zhou Jiejie, Suya, and Lan Ling. Isn't that enough? But now, it had become these people ganging up to bully him. Why? Why is it like this? Chen Mengyan cried. She cried very sadly. Her whole person collapsed. The previous thoughts of driving others away were gone. She was very afraid. She was afraid that if these people joined forces, she wouldn't even have the chance to see Yang Ming. Although Chen Mengyan was very confident in the past that Yang Ming would not give up on her, it was difficult for her to guarantee that Yang Ming would choose her in the face of so many women. Can Yang Ming give up on everyone and only choose me? Chen Mengyan's heart was very unconfident. If Yang Ming could give up, he would have given up on Lan Ling. He wouldn't have a conflict with me. Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan became more and more nervous and worried. So, she cried even more sadly. Chen Mengyan, to be honest, I am very disappointed with your performance today. In the past, Yang Ming always praised you in front of me. He said that you are the best candidate for the master of the harem. He told me how generous you are, how kind you are, and how you can tolerate others. But today, besides being jealous, you are also very fragile. Sun Jia looked at Chen Mengyan with a smile. She said word by word, as an opponent, I really look down on you. You are defeated just like that. What else can I do? I am also very generous. I can accept Sister Lin and Jiejie, as well as Suya and Lan Ling. But your appearance is too sudden. I can't accept it. What is wrong with this? This is not my fault. Chen Mengyan listened to Sun Jia's words and cried even more sadly. Yes, you are not wrong. For a normal woman, when she suddenly knows that her man has so many women outside, her first thought is definitely not to accept it. Sun Jia nodded and said faintly, however, you are different. As you said, you are Yang Ming's real girlfriend. You are too immature. When you encounter this kind of thing, your first reaction is to call us together for a confrontation. Is this meaningful? So what if we admit it? So what if we don't admit it? Things have already happened. You don't think about how to solve it, but how to drive us away. Do you think this is possible? Not to mention that Yang Ming is not here now. Even if Yang Ming is here, do you think that Yang Ming can do this kind of thing? I think you should know Yang Ming as well as I do, right? Chen Mengyan listened to Sun Jie's words and was secretly shocked. This woman is so powerful. In just a few words, she hit my sore spot. However, it is the truth, so I can't find the words to refute. In my heart, I also accepted her statement. Now, Yang Ming has left. What you have to do is to let him have no worries, but you want to make a fire in the backyard. Have you ever thought about it? If the news of our falling out spread to Yang Ming's ears, will he still have the heart to perform the mission? Can he still be at ease? If something goes wrong when he is nervous, can you take responsibility? Sun Jia looked at Chen Mengyan and sternly lectured her. This. Chen Mengyan was shocked again. Yes, Yang Ming is gone. I am afraid that he is most worried about his family. If there is a problem at home, then Yang Ming will definitely not be at ease. In that case, isn't it equivalent to adding trouble to Yang Ming? Chen Mengyan, let me ask you. Where did you get these photos? You didn't do it yourself, did you? After Sun Jia finished speaking, she shook her head and explained, with your temper, if you took them yourself, I am afraid you wouldn't wait until now to take them out. You would have already confronted us. So if I guessed correctly, these photos should have just been obtained by you. Am I right? Yes. Chen Mengyan didn't deny it and nodded. Sun Jie's words were right, so Chen Mengyan had no reason to refute. Chen Mengyan, I said that you are immature. You are really immature. Have you ever thought about it? Who gave you these photos? Why did they give them to you? Why did they give them to you at this time? Sun Jia asked a few questions in one breath. Don't you think this is weird? You didn't think about anything. You first confronted us, questioned us, and found a way to drive us away. If I were you, the first thing I would do is to investigate the source of these photos and see who wants to target Yang Ming. Why did they take these photos and send them over? What is their purpose? But look at what you have done. Do you want to kill Yang Ming? Chapter 2044. This. Chen Mengyan was suddenly awakened by Sun Jie's words. At this time, she thought of this extremely important problem. That's right. Who on earth sent these photos? What is his purpose for doing this? Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan's heart suddenly jumped. Yeah, I'm really too immature. When I consider the problem, I actually didn't consider it thoroughly. I'm really a fool. I actually made the same mistake twice. The first time was when Wang Jitao brought a stack of photos, and I believed it. As a result, because of this matter, I almost missed my marriage with Yang Ming. In the final analysis, this was Wang Jitao's conspiracy to deal with Yang Ming. But I was fooled, and it was the second time, and I was fooled again. Sun Jia was right. These photos, judging from the dates above, some of them were even taken almost a year ago. At that time, I just confirmed my relationship with Yang Ming, right? The person who sent the photos couldn't have seen these things by chance and just took a picture and sent it to me. This person obviously had a purpose. Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan suddenly had a cold sweat. I really almost ignored the most important thing. If Sun Jia didn't remind me, then I wouldn't have thought of this. If I had a conflict with Sun Jia indiscriminately, wouldn't that be the intention of the person who sent the photos? Sun Jia, I'm sorry. Chen Mengyan was a person who knew when to let go. After realizing her mistake, she no longer quibbled and pestered him endlessly. Instead, she directly admitted her mistake, I'm immature. I didn't think of the deeper meaning behind this. It seems that none of Yang Ming's women are just for show. Especially this Sun Jia, she is unparalleled in wisdom. She is 100 times better than me. Yang Ming has her by his side, so she is a good assistant. Now, Yang Ming wasn't at home, and someone was plotting something. If there wasn't a think tank like Sun Jia, it wouldn't work. At this moment, Chen Mengyan was also in a dilemma. After thinking about the pros and cons, Chen Mengyan stood up and took a deep breath. She solemnly bowed to Sun Jia and said, I'm sorry. I was reckless before. I hope Sister Sun Jia won't blame me. Although Chen Mengyan still didn't want to accept so many women from Yang Ming, Sun Jia's words also reminded her. Could Yang Ming give up? Absolutely impossible. With Yang Ming's character, he wouldn't give up on anyone. If he could give up earlier, he would have done so from the very beginning. Therefore, after Chen Mengyan calmed down, she also felt that it was impossible for her to chase these people away with her strength. Then, if she couldn't, she would accept it. She could only accept this path. Moreover, Sun Jia wasn't wrong. The person who sent the photo probably wanted to provoke some kind of trouble to make her quarrel with these women. Otherwise, Chen Mengyan really couldn't think of any other use for this photo. Sorry, Sister Ying, Sister Xiaoqing, Yan Yan, Xiaolu, Mingxi, please allow me to say sorry. After Chen Mengyan finished speaking to Sun Jia, she turned and spoke to the others. It's nothing. Wang Xiaoyan said faintly, as long as you don't interfere with me being with Yang Ming, I won't kill you. Chen Mengyan listened to Wang Xiaoyan's words and suddenly smiled bitterly. This Wang Xiaoyan is also a ruthless character. Mengyan, to be honest, now I am looking at you seriously. Sun Jia smiled. As the most important woman around Yang Ming, you have to learn to be tolerant and loving. If you can't do it, then give up your position as soon as possible. I am happy to replace you. Believe that I will do a good job. I can do it now. Chen Mengyan was not to be outdone. Don't worry. I don't mean to fight with you for the time being. Now is not the time to fight. In the end, Yang Ming has the final say in this position, not us. Sun Jia said indifferently, if Yang Ming thinks highly of you, then I have no opinion. I love him, so I respect all his decisions. After listening to Sun Jia's words, Chen Mengyan suddenly had a feeling of enlightenment. Yes, if I love him, I have to respect his decision. These women, no matter what, Yang Ming has decided on them. Then, Yang Ming has his own reasons. How can I drive them away? If I don't do well, I can give it to you in the future. When Chen Mengyan said this, she secretly gritted her teeth. I must not lose to Sun Jia. At this moment, Chen Mengyan matured a lot and completed a gorgeous transformation. This transformation was not on the surface, but in the heart. At this moment, she completely dropped her guard and jealousy. She regarded all the women present as a family. Sun Jia was right. Yang Ming was not here, so they should be more united. Sisters, I am sorry. I was stingy before. I apologize. We will be a family in the future. I hope that everyone will supervise me. When I do something wrong, you will mention it in time. Chen Mengyan said from the heart, if everyone thinks that I am not suitable, then I will give up the position of the real girlfriend. Well, I will let you be the girlfriend first. When I want to be, I will snatch it. Sun Jia waved her hand indifferently and smiled indifferently. She was a practical woman. These illusory titles were not very attractive to her. The status of the women around Yang Ming was determined by strength, not words. Whoever helped Yang Ming the most, Yang Ming would naturally rely on them more. Mengyan, in fact, I am also wrong in this matter. Thank you for your tolerance. Zhao Ying naturally did not mean to fight for anything. At this time, seeing that Chen Mengyan changed her attitude, she was naturally relieved. Yeah, Mengyan, I said before. I don't want to fight for anything. I just want to silently support Yang Ming and stand behind him. Xiao Qing also smiled and said, don't worry. Little Jia just said it. She didn't want to snatch a real girlfriend. Xiao Qing secretly admired Sun Jia in her heart. She actually reversed the situation with just a few words. She made Chen Mengyan, who was originally screaming herself hoarse, have such a huge change. At this moment, Chen Mengyan seemed to be a lot more mature and sensible. Jing Xiaolu smiled and greeted Chen Mengyan, Sister Mengyan, you used to be my sister. Naturally, you are my sister now. Chen Mingxi didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. I am a slave bought by Yang Ming. My status naturally can't be compared to yours. Including Wang Xiaoyan, who had previously expressed her position, now everyone had expressed their support for Chen Mengyan, the real girlfriend. It made Chen Mengyan sigh in relief. It turns out that the feeling of being respected is really good. Chapter 2045. Thank you, everyone. Chen Mengyan pursed her lips and smiled slightly. It turned out that learning to tolerate others was also a very happy thing. Well, if you want to buy people's hearts, we will talk about it later. Now, we should study the problem of this photo. Sun Jia waved her hand and interrupted Chen Mengyan. She was not polite to Chen Mengyan. At the beginning, Sun Jia did have the intention to compete with Chen Mengyan. Sun Jia also had this strength. There was no doubt about this. Sun Jia once said that she could force Chen Mengyan to run away from home with a few words. Previously, Chen Mengyan was already on the verge of collapse. She believed that as long as Sun Jia continued to pursue, Chen Mengyan was likely to be pushed away. However, Sun Jia did not do so. Because Sun Jia was an extremely smart woman, she knew that Yang Ming only had one real girlfriend. The person that Yang Ming liked was Chen Mengyan. Then, it didn't matter whether Chen Mengyan had the ability or not. As long as Yang Ming recognized it, it was enough. Sun Jia had also tested Yang Ming several times. After getting a positive answer from Yang Ming, Sun Jia had no intention to compete. Today's squeezing and reprimanding of Chen Mengyan was completely to train Chen Mengyan when Yang Ming wasn't there. Since Yang Ming had already identified Chen Mengyan's position, then Sun Jia didn't mind helping him to turn Chen Mengyan into a truly competent person. Of course, Sun Jia couldn't say these words to Chen Mengyan. It wouldn't have the same effect as before. Now, it seemed that the effect was very good. Chen Mengyan had begun to make changes. This made Sun Jia very gratified and happy. But on the surface, it couldn't be shown. She still had to continue to play the role of the villain and completely train Chen Mengyan. Yes. Chen Mengyan didn't argue with Sun Jia at this time. Instead, she nodded in agreement and said, I received this express delivery this morning. Where's the packaging? Give it to me. Sun Jia hesitated and said. All right. Chen Mengyan handed the envelope of the express delivery to Sun Jia. Sun Jia immediately took out her mobile phone and scanned the barcode with the camera. Then she said, this express delivery was sent 20 days ago. This express delivery is really fast, oh. 20 days ago. Chen Mengyan was stunned and said, at that time, Yang Ming hadn't left yet, right? Also, according to common sense, a normal express delivery, especially one from the same city, would take at most 1 or 2 days to arrive. But this express delivery is a little too long. And then Sun Jia looked at Chen Mengyan with appreciation and asked. Then, the sender of this express delivery is probably thinking that when Yang Ming is here, I will have a conflict with you. Chen Mengyan hesitated and continued to analyze, what is the purpose of him doing this? Doing this can't cause substantial harm to Yang Ming. Yes. He wants to disturb Yang Ming's mood. Yes. Sun Jia nodded and said, if I guessed correctly, the purpose of this person is not to hurt Yang Ming, but to disturb Yang Ming and let Yang Ming leave with regrets. When performing the mission, he may be distracted and can't concentrate. After all, Yang Ming is worried about his family. How can he perform the mission with peace of mind? Sun Jia had already guessed this. When she saw the time when the express delivery was sent, she realized this point. Letting Chen Mengyan say it was nothing more than training her ability, but also to establish her position in everyone's heart. Sun Jia had put in a lot of effort. Fortunately, this mail was sent only now. I have to thank this lazy dispatcher. It took him so many days to send the mail. Chen Mengyan said with a lingering fear in her heart as she secretly thanked her lucky stars. It's okay to send it in advance. This person underestimated Yang Ming's ability. Sun Jia shook her head disdainfully. Now, even if Yang Ming is not here, we can get along well. If Yang Ming is here, I am afraid it will be easier to settle. Although Sun Jia said this, she was actually giving face to Yang Ming. In fact, she also knew that if Yang Ming was at home, things would be more complicated. At the very least, Sun Jia couldn't say some words in front of Yang Ming, and it was impossible to force Chen Mengyan to such a point where she had to make a choice. If Yang Ming was here, Sun Jia believed that in the end, Yang Ming would be able to get Chen Mengyan's understanding and make her happy, but this process would definitely not be short. After all, Chen Mengyan's heart knot was not so easy to untie. But now the situation was different. Chen Mengyan didn't have Yang Ming to rely on. She was suddenly squeezed to the bottom of the valley. If she didn't make a choice, she would be excluded by everyone, so some unnecessary trouble was avoided. But, who is this person? Why is he targeting Yang Ming? Chen Mengyan asked with some doubts. Mengyan, maybe you still don't know. Yang Ming's mission this time is extremely dangerous, and he didn't tell you the truth because he didn't want you to worry. Sun Jia didn't hide it from Chen Mengyan. Now that they were sisters on the same front, there was nothing to hide. Only by letting Chen Mengyan know the situation, then everyone could think of a solution together. He said that his mission isn't dangerous. It's just a battle of attrition. Chen Mengyan wasn't stupid. As she spoke until here, she suddenly realized something. A battle of attrition. It turns out that Yang Ming was afraid that he couldn't come back, so he lied to us that the mission time was very long. That's right. Sun Jia nodded. You were immature before. Yang Ming was also afraid that you would do something irrational, so he didn't tell you the truth. But fortunately, now that you have grown up, there are some things that you can know. Yang Ming's mission this time can be said to be a narrow escape. He didn't have any confidence. Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jiajia, and Lin Jiyun suddenly became nervous. Among them, except for the three of them, the others had already known, so at this time, they didn't show any inappropriate behavior. I believe you know how powerful Yang Ming's skills are. Yang Ming said that he didn't have confidence. You can think about the danger yourself. Sun Jia said, Yin Yan knows Yang Ming's skills the best, right? You tell Mengyan how powerful Yang Ming is. Yang Ming is the king of assassins. Wang Xiaoyan didn't compete. When others accepted her, she also tried to accept others. They were all Yang Ming's women. It wasn't good to have a bad relationship, so Wang Xiaoyan continued, I have carried out many dangerous missions with Yang Ming. We have been through a lot of bullets. I know how powerful Yang Ming is. It can be said that in the past, no matter what he did, he had absolute confidence, but this time, he didn't. Chapter 2046. Ah. That Yang Ming. Why didn't he tell me before? Chen Mingyan's face suddenly became pale. She thought that Yang Ming's mission was only time-consuming. According to Yang Ming, it might take 10 or 20 years. However, Chen Mingyan thought that even if it was 10 or 20 years, she could still wait. At that time, she was only 40 years old. It was not unusual for her to get married and have children late. However, what she didn't expect was that Yang Ming actually lied to her. Yang Ming's mission was not time-consuming, but extremely dangerous. He didn't tell you because he was afraid that you would be worried because the person he loves the most is you. As Sun Jie said this, she couldn't help but be jealous. However, you are also not mature. Yang Ming was afraid that after he finished talking to you, you wouldn't let him go. If he had to go, wouldn't he be distracted? Wouldn't he be able to concentrate on the mission? So, you can just treat it as a white lie. Chen Mengyan was silent. Sun Jie was right. With her character, if she knew the truth, she would not let Yang Ming go. However, with Yang Ming's character, it was impossible for her to stop him. No. I won't do it this time. Chen Mengyan shook her head. I have grown up. So, this is also the reason why I told you. If it weren't because you have matured a lot today, I wouldn't have told you these words. I would have kept you in the dark and be a happy little girl, said Sun Jie. Sister Sun Jie, then what should we do now? Chen Mengyan nodded and asked. First of all, analyze the purpose of this sender, but now the purpose is almost obvious. He just wants to use this method to divide us and let us quarrel to affect Yang Ming's mood. He wants to make Yang Ming unhappy so that it will affect his mental state when performing the mission. Sun Jie said, but what puzzles me is that Yang Ming's mission should have been issued recently, right? Before this, Yang Ming didn't even know of the existence of this mission. As for these photos, the earliest one is almost a year old. A year ago, Yang Ming had yet to join the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. This person who wants to deal with Yang Ming has been plotting since a year ago. Sun Jie immediately saw the key point of the problem and pointed out the important doubts in it. So, this person had started to plan before. Maybe it wasn't for this matter. He was just plotting some possible means to deal with Yang Ming. And this time, for Yang Ming's mission, he just happened to throw out this suitable strategy. Chen Mengyan wasn't stupid. After Sun Jie pointed it out, she followed up. Not bad, Mengyan, you can think of this. Sun Jie nodded with satisfaction. You're right. Since this person started to plan so early, this may not be the only means in his hands. Perhaps, he has other tricks to deal with Yang Ming or us. This person is very dangerous. It would be best if we can find him, but I'm afraid it will be very difficult. Why? I can ask my father for help. Chen Mengyan was a little anxious when she heard it. Since this person is so dangerous, and he still has means that haven't been used, then this person may also deal with Yang Ming. How can I sit back and do nothing? I know Yang Ming's skill, and I am also very clear about my own skill. If he can take these photos without Yang Ming and me noticing, then how good is his skill? Wang Xiaoyan spoke at this moment. Since everyone didn't fight for Yang Ming, then Wang Xiaoyan didn't mind cooperating with everyone. She wasn't a person who liked to fight for power and profit. She just wanted her own position. Since she had her own position, other things didn't matter. Sister Yan Yan is right. This person is really too dangerous. A person who can't be detected by Yang Ming, how terrifying is his skill. Sun Jie said, how good is this person's qigong? At the very least, it isn't worse than Yang Ming. Then, what should we do? After Chen Mengyan listened to Sun Jie's words, her eyes were full of deep worry. Only at this moment, everyone's heart slowly connected together. They abandoned jealousy and dissatisfaction. Everything was for Yang Ming. Inform Yang Ming's colleague, Fatty, and let the Supernatural Investigation Bureau investigate. This is the only way. I hope they can have a result. Sun Jie sighed and said. She didn't have any way. I know Yang Ming's master. I will go to him and ask if he has a way. Wang Xiaoyan also said. Oh. You know Yang Ming's master. Sun Jie's eyes suddenly lit up. Yes, Yang Ming and I are both assassins. As I said before, our engagement was hosted by his master and my father. Wang Xiaoyan explained. Yes, I almost forgot about this. This is great. With the help of Yang Ming's master, then everything won't be a problem. Sun Jie said, in this case, I suggest that at this time, if everyone has nothing to do, let's move in together first. This way, we can make better plans and prevent people from dealing with us one by one. Although Sun Jie's proposal had her reasons, she didn't say the more important reason. That was, she wanted to give Yang Ming a very united harem after Yang Ming came back. So that Yang Ming wouldn't have any worries. As for the danger, Sun Jie believed in Yang Ming, this little man. After seeing Yang Ming's power, Sun Jie believed that no matter how difficult it was, Yang Ming could get through it safely. Sister Sun Jie is right. Everyone should live together so that we can make plans for each other. Although Chen Mengyan also guessed Sun Jie's intention, she wasn't a stingy person. Since she had decided to accept it, she would do it thoroughly and be generous. She could also gain everyone's favor. Since Sun Jie and Chen Mengyan agreed, then the others naturally had nothing to say. They were ready to go back to pack up and move to Yang Ming's villa. Wang Xiaoyan went to find Fang Tian. At the same time, Yang Ming and his group had arrived at a small town near Miaojiang. There were no trains or planes here, so they could only drive there. Yang Ming, Feng Tianlong, Lu Yezi, Xia Shui, and Xiao Susu took an off-road vehicle and stopped at the door of a hotel. Tonight, they would be stationed here. When they woke up the next day, they would inquire about the nearby area. In the vast Miaojiang, it was not easy to find the trace of Elder Yu. However, what Yang Ming and the others didn't expect was that they were targeted when they just arrived at the hotel in this town. Chapter 2047. This was the only way to get to Miaojiang. This town was the only place to stay. Whether Yang Ming and the rest went there secretly or appeared in public, the result was the same. This was not a tourist spot, so there were not many foreigners. So, Yang Ming and the rest could be seen by people who were interested, whether it was public or not. After Yang Ming and the rest entered the hotel, a few ordinary-looking women, who looked like housewives in the village, took out their phones, played with the photos in their hands, and dialed a number. We have found them. They are staying in the hotel in the center of the town, said the woman. The woman on the other side of the phone said something, and she suddenly nodded with a smile. In a dense jungle in Miaojiang, an evil-looking old man was sitting in an armchair with a gloomy face at the moment. Listening to the report of his subordinates, he frowned and said, "Why are they here so soon? Didn't an insider say that they have to train for at least a month in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? How many days has it been?" "Elder Yu, I am not sure. But the news from Falcon may not be accurate. I think that he is really unreliable. He can't even delay Yang Ming for a day. He is a piece of trash," said the underling in black. "Humph. My Gene Gang Divine Voodoo is at the critical stage of cultivation research. Once I have mastered it and consumed the Gene Gang Divine Voodoo, I will be invincible. Elder Yu said with a serious face, no matter what, we can't let Yang Ming come to us now. I am not afraid of him, but this kid can't do anything right. If he disturbs my training, it will ruin everything. I have already discussed with the people of Mutated Meow Village. They will help to stop Yang Ming and the rest, said the underling in black. But they want some benefits, humph. Ungrateful people who want to take advantage of the situation. I have given them many benefits before. Now that they are doing this little thing, they are asking for benefits. The right-hand elder sneered unhappily and said, if the people from Blue Meow Village weren't targeting us, our people would have gone out to snipe Yang Ming directly. Why would we need them? That's right. However, the people from the Mutated Meow Village must have known this as well. That's why they demanded so much from us, said the man in black. Forget it. Just satisfy their request. What request do they want this time? Elder Yu asked. They want the complete collection of Blue Meow Village's voodoo art, said the subordinate in black. What? You really dare to open your mouth? When Elder Yu heard the words of the black-shirt subordinate, he was stunned. Then, he laughed angrily, not to mention that I haven't seen the entire collection of voodoo. Even if I have, I can't give it to them. Yes, this subordinate refused at that time. However, they said that they could change the conditions, but they wanted to talk to you personally. The black-clothed subordinate said. Let him come. I want to see what conditions they want. Elder Yu nodded and said. Yes. The subordinate in black turned around and left. Not long after, he brought in an old man who looked a little wretched. This person was the chief of the Mutated Meow Village, Kulai Man. Greetings, Elder Yu. When this wretched old man saw Elder Yu, he walked over with a face full of smiles and greeted him respectfully. Humph. Kulai Man, you've become arrogant these few years, haven't you? You're getting more and more arrogant, aren't you? You want the complete collection of voodoo. Elder Yu looked at Kulai Man in front of him. The more he looked at him, the angrier he got. In the past, this insignificant person was like an ant. Now, he was standing in front of him and talking about conditions. In the past, Elder Yu would not even spare a glance at this kind of person. He would even find it troublesome to kill him. However, this kind of person was able to survive in the cracks. While Blue Meow Village was having internal strife, things had developed rapidly. In the past few years, Elder Yu and Blue Meow Village had split up and started an all-out war with Blue Meow Village. Both sides had suffered heavy losses and did not have the time to care about other things. Because of this, the originally small Mutated Meow Village had become a new force to be reckoned with. In the blink of an eye, it had become the second largest Meow Village in this area. Hee, Elder Yu must be joking. Everyone has the heart to improve, right? I'm the same. There's no harm in wanting to learn more, right? Kulai Man smiled and ignored Elder Yu's mockery. Our Mutated Meow Village has had a hard time developing in the past few years. It's time for us to recuperate. Aren't you making things difficult for us by asking us to deal with those special agents from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? We'll definitely have to pay a huge price. If there are no benefits, I believe no one will do this kind of thing, right? Humph, it's just a few people. There's only a total of 5 people. You can easily deal with them. How dare you ask for such a huge benefit from me? Elder Yu was obviously very angry. Hee, the people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau are all experts. You can't expect us to do this for free, right? Kulai Man said, how about this? I'll help you stall them this time. Of course, it'll be best if we can kill them. However, after this, once you succeed and become the largest village leader in Miaojiang, you must protect our mutated Miao village and make it the second largest village. My request isn't too much, right? We're the second largest Miao village now. To put it bluntly, if you continue to fight with Blue Miao village, it's hard to say if we'll become the first in a few years. Being the first is only temporary. You guys lack too much foundation. Elder Yu smiled disdainfully. I can agree to your request and let you become the second largest village after me. However, it's up to you guys whether you can maintain it or not. Of course, but we'll need Elder Yu to take care of us when the time comes. Ku Lai Man nodded and said. Of course, there's no problem if we can take care of you. Alright, let's not talk nonsense. Yang Ming and the others have already arrived at a nearby town and are staying in the town center hotel. It'll be best if your people can intercept them there. Elder Yu waved his hand impatiently and said. No problem, I'll do my best. After Ku Lai Man got a satisfactory answer from Elder Yu, he left Elder Yu's room and went back to arrange the manpower. After Ku Lai Man left, the subordinate in black walked into Elder Yu's room again. Elder Yu, did he agree? He agreed, but I don't know if he can intercept Yang Ming. No matter what, let him be the cannon fodder. A small village that has just been established wants to become the second largest village. Is it possible? Brainless guy. Elder Yu smiled disdainfully. We should also move to another location. It's not safe here. Chapter 2048. Change the location. The black-shirt subordinate was slightly stunned. He didn't understand what Elder Yu meant. Don't underestimate this kid, Yang Ming. How many good things has this guy ruined for me? Elder Yu said, if Ku Layman is caught by Yang Ming and asks where I am, it won't be good if he comes to make trouble. That's true. The black-shirt subordinate nodded and said, Elder Yu is very thoughtful. Yang Ming and the other 4 people stayed in the hotel in the center of the town. The conditions here were not very good, but this was the only hotel in the town. There was no second one. This was not a tourist spot, so the business of the hotel was naturally not very good. Most of the people who came to this hotel were local young men and women. There were very few unfamiliar guests. Boss, if we appear here blatantly, will Elder Yu's informant see us? Lu Yezi asked hesitantly. Naturally, we will be seen. Yang Ming said, but even if you don't come here blatantly, Elder Yu will still know. Oh. Lu Yezi was stunned, and then he understood Yang Ming's words, that's right. Our actions are not a secret. Since Little Wang can sneak into the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, then the whereabouts of our group will not be a secret. Yes, the most important thing is that we have to pass through this town to go to Miaojiang. This town is a place we have to pass through. There are basically no outsiders here, so our appearance, whether it is public or not, will be seen by others. So, Elder Yu will always know. In that case, it doesn't matter what we do. Yang Ming nodded and said. Boss, then what should we do next? Since Elder Yu knows of our arrival, then he will definitely make preparations to deal with it. What should we do? Lu Yezi said with some worry, I'm afraid that the enemy will come before we reach Miaojiang. What's the use of worrying? Yang Ming smiled and said, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. This has been the truth since ancient times. Since we are already here, we can't escape, right? We can't escape. We have to make an action plan, right? Lu Yezi asked. No. However, Yang Ming said indifferently, this mission is different from the past. It's completely adaptable. Even if we come up with something now, it's just an armchair strategy. There's no practical use. I agree with Captain. This mission is not simple. I'm sure that the enemy will use goo techniques against us. That's why our previous battle strategies are useless. If we see someone, we can kill them in close range. But if we don't see them, we can still be hit. Feng Tianlong nodded in agreement. Yes, if the other party really fights with us, we are not afraid. What we are afraid of is that they will use goo. Xia Shui also echoed. This is also our weakness. I can solve the simple voodoo, but I can't do anything about the more difficult ones. Xiao Susu smiled bitterly. But thinking about it, the voodoo technique used to deal with us shouldn't be simple. Be careful. Don't eat things that you shouldn't eat. Don't drink water, but the voodoo in the air is impossible to guard against. Yang Ming sighed and took out a small box from his pocket. Since we are here, some things will be distributed to you. We are about to enter Miaojiang. Everyone should be careful. This is... Xiao Susu asked with some doubts when she saw the small box in Yang Ming's hand. This is a type of pill called the goo dispelling pill. A friend of mine concocted it for me before I left. Due to time constraints, I only managed to refine 30 pills. 6 pills for each person, just enough for everyone. Yang Ming opened the box and explained, this kind of goo antidote pill can deal with general voodoo. As long as it's not too powerful, it can be cured. But if it's the more powerful kind of voodoo, there's no way. Oh. There is such a good thing. Xiao Susu's eyes suddenly lit up. The general voodoo is very powerful. The particularly powerful voodoo is also a secret in some Miao villages in Miaojiang. Only the village master, the elders, and some direct disciples know about it. The others don't know about it. It's a good thing. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. If Elder Yu dealt with us personally, it is estimated that this thing would be as useless as jelly beans. This was the voodoo antidote that Yang Ming asked Zhang Jishan to refine for him before he left. This kind of universal voodoo antidote could only solve some of the more common voodoo. For the powerful kind, although Zhang Jishan also knew how to solve it, he couldn't refine a universal antidote. He couldn't blindly refine a lot of antidotes without any specific purpose, right? Not to mention the problem of insufficient materials. Even if he could refine it, the time was too late. It's better than nothing. Xiao Susu was still very happy. Before I left, I had been thinking about refining some of the antidotes, but my skills were not good enough. I didn't expect the captain to have solved it. That's right. Otherwise, how can he be our boss? Lu Yezi also felt that Yang Ming was very powerful. Yang Ming just smiled and distributed the antidote to everyone. Then he said, if the situation is not right, quickly take it. We will enter Miaojiang early tomorrow morning. Today, everyone should rest early. I guess that in the town, Elder Yu's people won't make a move. After all, this is not their territory. Everyone nodded and went back to their rooms to rest. Yang Ming sighed slightly. He didn't know what was going on at home. Since he came out, Yang Ming had changed his mobile phone and never contacted home again. Chen Mengyan and the others, do they miss me? I hope this mission can be completed smoothly. However, Yang Ming didn't cut off contact with Lan Ling. This was also mentioned to Xia Bingbao. Xia Bingbao also agreed that Yang Ming and Lan Ling would keep in touch. After all, in Miaojiang, no one could help Yang Ming as much as Lan Ling. Lan Ling was originally from Miaojiang, and she was also the granddaughter of the chief of Lan Miao village. If she was willing to help Yang Ming, it would naturally be best. So, after Yang Ming arrived here, he sent a text message to Lan Ling, telling her that he had arrived. Yang Ming was not worried that Elder Yu would use any technological means to intercept the text message between him and Lan Ling. Not to mention that his phone was the latest encrypted phone developed by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Even if it was an ordinary phone, Elder Yu's technological means were lacking. If the behind-the-scenes boss would do it, Yang Ming would still believe it. Soon, Lan Ling replied with a text message to Yang Ming. Chapter 2049. Have you arrived? Call me back. There's important news. Lan Ling's message was very short. Obviously, there was something that couldn't be explained in a few words, so she asked Yang Ming to reply. Yang Ming didn't say anything and dialed Lan Ling's phone number. On Lan Ling's side, the call was quickly connected. Ling Ling, it's me. I've arrived. I'm in the town closest to Miaojiang, but I reckon that Elder Yu's spy must have found us. Yang Ming said, there are very few tourists from other places here. Even if we want to hide it, there's no way. That's true, but you're right. Elder Yu did know about your arrival, and he also arranged the next step. Lan Ling said, I asked you to reply this time because I want to tell you about this. You know about this too. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. Yes, don't doubt the accuracy of the news. We also have spies around Elder Yu. We have been fighting for so long, so we have spies around each other. You should know about this, right? Lan Ling said solemnly, this time, Elder Yu didn't deal with you personally, but found another person from the Miao village to deal with you. Elder Yu is at a critical moment in his cultivation, so he can't be disturbed. His underlings are restrained by our Blue Miao village, so he doesn't have the energy to deal with you. Now, he asked the Miao village to help him deal with you. In fact, it's just to delay time. He doesn't want to achieve anything, but he wants to not make any mistakes. As long as he successfully delayed you and bought time for him to master his martial arts, he will deal with you and our Blue Miao village. However, although our people have infiltrated Elder Yu's group, we still haven't determined Elder Yu's specific residence. Because Elder Yu's residence is only known by a few of his trusted underlings, our people can't get to this level. Similarly, Elder Yu's people can't get close to me and my grandmother. We only have reliable trusted underlings around us. Yang Ming nodded. Lan Ling's words were right. These spies generally wouldn't reach a high level. Lan Ling's trusted underlings must have been with her grandmother for a long time. It was impossible for newcomers to be put in an important position. Another Hmong village. Elder Yu's influence is already so big. Yang Ming was taken aback and asked. This Miao village is currently the second largest village in Miaojiang. It is also because of the internal strife in our Blue Miao village that they rose rapidly. Although they are huge, they don't have a strong foundation. Hence, I reckon that they are cooperating with Elder Yu. Once Elder Yu takes back Blue Miao village and gains control of it, he will take care of and help that Miao village. Lan Ling could see clearly and immediately guessed the deal between Elder Yu and Ku Layman. I see. Are the people from the Hmong village powerful? Yang Ming nodded and asked. It's not that powerful. The Gu arts are just ordinary Gu arts. They don't have powerful high priests and elders. They can't create powerful Gu poisons. So, as long as you are careful, there won't be a problem. Lan Ling said, the antidote pill that Zhang Jishan created for you should be enough to deal with this. That's good. Yang Ming let out a sigh of relief. If you can control this abnormal Miao village's village chief, Ku Layman, and get the specific location of Elder Yu's residence from him, then we can work together to attack Elder Yu. If the arrangement is right, there should be a chance to eliminate him. Lan Ling said, this is also the reason why I called you in a hurry. If we deal with Elder Yu before he completes his divine art, it will be easier. Otherwise, it will be too difficult for us to deal with him after he completes his divine art. Once his Gene Gang's sinister voodoo is completed, he will become an invulnerable monster. Alright, I'll try my best. Yang Ming didn't dare to be too confident because he didn't have any advantage here. He also didn't know if Ku Layman, who Lan Ling mentioned, would come personally. Hence, everything was still unknown. Yang Ming could only try his best. Just try your best. But don't force yourself if you really can't do it. I don't want anything to happen to you. Lan Ling said this and couldn't help but lower her voice. Do you hear me? N. Yang Ming smiled. Lan Ling probably had other people around her. Lan Ling was now representing the interests of Lan Miao village. She couldn't let these words be heard by others. After hanging up the phone call with Lan Ling, Yang Ming couldn't help but think. Previously, his plan was to sneak into the dense forest of Miaojiang early in the morning to look for Elder Yu's traces. But now, Yang Ming changed his mind. Lan Ling's news could be said to be great news. With the participation of the abnormal Miao village's village chief, Ku Layman, this matter was much simpler than before. Finding Elder Yu might be difficult, but finding Ku Layman was much easier than finding Elder Yu. Of course, this so-called simple was only relative. In this unfamiliar place, Yang Ming couldn't say that he had any confidence. It was only relatively easier. If he stayed in the small town and didn't leave, would Ku Layman come to deal with him? Lan Ling also said that the purpose of Ku Layman dealing with him was to delay his time, not to destroy him. So, if he stayed in the small town and didn't leave, it would be just what Elder Yu and Ku Layman wanted. So this trick obviously wouldn't work. So, how could he lure Ku Layman to deal with him personally? This was a difficult problem. Yang Ming decided to discuss with Lu Yezi, Feng Tianlong, Xiao Susu, and Xia Shui. After all, there was strength in numbers. As the saying goes, 3 heads are better than Zhuge Liang. Soon, everyone gathered in Yang Ming's room. Yang Ming also told them the latest news he got from Lan Ling and discussed the plan to deal with Ku Layman with them. While Yang Ming was discussing how to deal with Ku Layman was discussing how to deal with Yang Ming. Leader Ku, the opponent is just a normal person. Is there a need to discuss? Just send a few people over and put some voodoo in them. Wouldn't it be fine if they stay in the forest forever? One of the confidants suggested disdainfully. Idiot. Leader Ku snorted and said, if it's that simple, why doesn't Elder Yu do it himself? His subordinates are held back by the Blue Miao village. He doesn't have any extra people. The confidant said carefully. Bullshit. No extra people. If it's really as easy as you said, a few of Elder Yu's subordinates would be able to handle it. Elder Yu has a lot of talents around him. Even if Blue Miao village is suppressing his strength, it's impossible that he can't even use a few of his subordinates, right? Stockade leader Ku glared at his trusted subordinate and said unhappily, you're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.